After back-to-back road games, the HBU Huskies are back on campus. The tailgaters are out. The students are ready for the short walk over to Husky Stadium. And it's time for some Southland Conference football on a beautiful night in Houston. It's the Huskies and the Lumberjacks coming up next. Husky Stadium is the site for Southland Conference football. The Stephen F. Austin Lumberjacks 4-2 overall, 1-1 in league play. Take on the HBU Huskies. They're 1-5, still looking for their first win here in Southland Conference action. And hello everyone, with Jeff Power, I'm Brett Dolan. Great to have you with us tonight. Jeff, a tough one last week for the Huskies. They're back on campus though, and in a season of firsts, they're still trying to get that first Southland Conference victory. Yeah, a couple of road losses in a row here to Incarnate Word, and a tough loss last week to Central Arkansas. But home sweet home is sometimes what you need to see, and SFA is the opponent, and this could be a winnable game for HBU. As far as the Huskies are concerned, it's just great to have their quarterback back and healthy. Yeah, Jonathan Fleming is back. He did have a leg injury earlier this year, has missed the last few games, but he is back on the field. Will get the start tonight. We did get a late scratch, though. Darian Lazard will not play. He's one of his go-to receivers. The Lumberjacks are a very balanced offensive team between running and passing. They've got a very good quarterback we'll talk about later, but they have an outstanding running back. Yeah, turn the Gus loose, as we say. Gus Johnson has been sensational this year. Almost 1,000 yards rushing. #1 in the Southland Conference. Also quite a few yards through the air as far as him receiving yards. He really makes this offense go. They run first, and then they pass out of that run. Lumberjacks got their first road win in 12 games last week. They'd like to make it 2 in a row. The Huskies looking for their first conference win tonight. The Huskies and the Lumberjacks, our kickoff comes your way right after this. Here come the Stephen F. Austin Lumberjacks, the team that won just 3 games last year, hoping to improve to 5-2 with a win tonight. The HBU Huskies, they've been on the road back-to-back games. Excited to be here at Husky Stadium trying to get that first conference victory. Again, I'm Brett Dolan with Jeff Power on a beautiful night here in Houston at Husky Stadium on the campus of HBU. Jeff, let's talk about a couple of the keys to tonight's game. Yeah, for HBU, obviously taking care of the football is their first and foremost key. They've had some trouble securing the ball throughout the season. They need to have a balanced offense as well. That starts with some positive plays, and they're hoping they get that from Jonathan Fleming, who's making the start tonight. As for SFA, they want to turn the Gus loose. Gus Johnson, of course, we talked about his stats, almost 900 yards rushing. They want to exploit that HBU secondary and also have a strong defensive pass rush. So that's the key for SFA. Now, getting back to what HBU was talking about, having Jonathan Fleming in that quarterback position, first time back after suffering a leg injury. We caught up with Vic Shealy moments ago, and he told us how good it is to have him back on the field.
Well, we're excited. Jonathan really by week 4 when he got before he got hurt was improving greatly, and he has a great week of practice this week, and we expect him to go out there and play well tonight.
Just the thoughts there from Vic Shealy as he is excited about having Jonathan back out on the field as the coin is now being tossed on the field.
The coaches that came with me, I was able to reward them for their loyalty and their hard work, and we were able to put together a great staff. And you know, Greater Houston, Southeast Texas, DFW, and East Texas is some of the best high school football played on Friday night anywhere in America. And we're right in the middle of that footprint. Those things really energize me and excite me, and it's a job that I had my eye on for 10 years ago.
And that was Clint Conk right there telling you why he left Central Arkansas to become the head coach over at Stephen F. Austin, and he has done a fine job here with the Lumberjacks. In fact, his son is the quarterback. That ought to be a lot of fun tonight. You consider what Stephen F. Austin is trying to build, Jeff, a team that again won 3 games last year. Coach Conk, he's had his success at Central Arkansas. Nacogdoches about 2.5 hours from Dallas, about the same distance here from Houston, a fertile recruiting ground. Last night they had 8 coaches go out and visit 60 schools in the area to try and generate some recruits because Houston's so important for this program. But of course, the Huskies, they feel the same thing. Just try and recruit as many of these local kids as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many great players that are in East Texas all the way down through the southeastern part of the state. And if you want to include Dallas in that too, no question about it, some of the best fertile talent up there in the DFW. But SFA, as Coach Conk told you right there, they're kind of right in the middle of it. Their footprint is nice and set. And that's one of the main reasons why he came to coach Stephen F. Austin.
And the Lumberjacks will get the football first. HBU will kick off. First ever meeting between these two programs. First of 2 trips to the greater Houston area for SFA. And the Huskies trying to improve upon that game last week that we touched on against Coach Conk's former school, Central Arkansas. Not a pretty one, 70-0. Coach Vic Shealy said it was disappointing to say the least, hoping for a much better effort here tonight.
For the start of tonight's ball game, ladies and gentlemen.
Braxton Bearden hoping for a chance to return this kick, a booming one that'll be a couple of yards deep in the end zone. Bearden's going to bring it out. Not bashful. Gets to the corner. Bearden needs a block and he gets one. Sprints forward. Bearden may go. Braxton Bearden took this 2 yards deep in the end zone. He'll be tackled at about the 2-yard line. What a way to begin things for SFA.
Wow, Braxton Bearden just grabbed a seam and took off down that left sideline. And if you're SFA, that's what you're looking for. You want to try to have an impact play on special teams to put your offense in great position, and they are going to get it on the, looks like the 2-yard line here of HBU.
The junior from Carrollton makes a big play on special teams. Jeff, I don't know about you. You see him take this a couple of yards deep. Normally, you think you take a knee, but as he comes to the near side, you see the blockers in front of him. He had it set up.
Yeah, all the way down that left sideline. Here's the move right here as he cut through 3 players, and it was just a foot race all the way down the sideline. And good job by HBU to catch him there as pushing him out of bounds at the very end. That's HBU's number 14 on the play there. Great looking play from him.
Gus Johnson will carry on the first play from scrimmage. He scored 13 touchdowns this year, make it 14. An amazing season for Gus Johnson. Takes it in from a couple of yards out, and just like that, the Lumberjacks are on the scoreboard first.
Well, that didn't take long at all. Stephen F. Austin scoring on their first play from the field of possession here and scoring, making it look pretty easy right there. The touchdown right up the gut.
14 touchdowns for Gus Johnson. Jordan Wiggs, very good place kicker on to try and add the extra point. He'll knock one right through. Just 19 seconds into this game, SFA puts up a 7-0 lead over HBU.
Yeah, that's a quick touchdown for Stephen F. Austin, and that's what you're looking for on the road. You want to score early, kind of take the momentum away from the opposing team and take the crowd out of it. And they do that right there on that opening kickoff. Nicely done. Eric Amoako did have the tackle there, pushing him out of bounds, but SFA wasted no time scoring on their first play from scrimmage.
So the Huskies right back on the field, ready to get the football back. In the last home game, we saw HBU go down and score in their first drive against Abilene Christian, another one of these purple and white teams, but that was a game that was eventually won by Abilene 59-14.
By the way, Gus Johnson now with 14 touchdowns on the season, 855 yards rushing, #1 in the Southland Conference. And by the way, that's 6th nationally, so he's getting some national respect there as well. And you're right, there seems like there's been a lot of purple opponents for HBU this season. Abilene Christian, Central Arkansas, now Stephen F. Austin.
Mason Jewell does the kicking off for SFA. From about the 1. Taylor Thompson with a good return gives HBU reasonable field position up around the 30.
Taylor Thompson, 5'11", 175 pounds out of Belleville. Nice return right there. We'll get a chance to see Jonathan Fleming here as we set up shop on their own 26-yard line.
And Jeff, speaking of that Abilene Christian game, Fleming, the former Abilene player who transferred here, played about a quarter. He strained his MCL, and Kadarius Baker had to pick up the pieces from there. But Fleming really back a week earlier than HBU anticipated, and that's exciting for them.
Well, you heard Vic, a great week at practice. We'll see. You practice as you play, they say.
B.J. Kelly runs into Fleming. His pass goes across the field. It was a low catch, but a good grab was made. It was Ethan Fry in the reception. He was popped out of bounds after a nifty gain on first down, even though he had to go down low to make sure he got those hands underneath that toss.
Yeah, Ethan Fry used to not only play quarterback when he was at Cedar Park High School, receiver as well, scat back, did it all with the Timberwolves.
So good enough for a first down on the first play from scrimmage. SFA, a defense that has really improved over a year ago, and now the play quickly blown dead.
Get the official call here.
The previous play is under further review.
Got to make sure that that ball was caught by Ethan Fry. It was kind of low, and hey, why not? That's one of the new rules implemented in the Southland Conference review. Why not use it?
Here's a good look at Vic Shealy. And while we have this opportunity, Jeff, you know, last year in this developmental season for HBU, they played 7 games. They were spaced out. Really, it was like having a lot of bye weeks. What they're dealing with this year is young players, freshmen and sophomores, trying to get into the rigors of college football, playing each and every week. And it's a physical issue that they're dealing with as we take another look at this pass that went across the field in the direction. Well, that was the previous one that was blown dead. But Shealy said we looked tired last week. And he wanted to change that. I'm sure being home will help. But that's just part of the growing pains when you have freshmen and sophomores out there rather than maybe juniors and seniors.
Yeah, that was a game. They got up in Central Arkansas, and that game was over before you knew it. It was 56-0 in the second quarter, and it was just one of those games where nothing was going right. It seemed like the team could get very down after a loss like that. But they've come back. They've had a good week at practice. Try to refocus. And, you know, if you talk with Vic, he'll tell you that he thinks that being back home, they've got some winnable games coming up here. They can kind of turn the mindset around and get these young recruits that they bring in each time they have a home game thinking positive and a good, you know, atmosphere for college football.
Well, I think he had the best line. He was talking about the experience of Central Arkansas, and he said that is the feeling that we will enjoy in a couple of years. And let's take another look at this play that is under review. Well, I think the review process knocked out the lights in the stadium. Knocked out the scoreboard. We're the only thing that has any power left, so that's what you get for going upstairs for the review, Jeff. You knock out all the power on campus and at Husky Stadium.
Yeah, well, there is not a light on as far as the field is concerned, and we've got our cameras kind of it looks much brighter on the camera than it does here in person, I can tell you that.
I thought somebody turned out the lights in our booth. Well, someone turned out the lights in the entire stadium. This will be a better look, I would think, and that's a catch. I mean, it's a little bit low, maybe just a hint of that football on the carpet, but Fry got his hands underneath, so I think this will stand. But right now, this is the least of our problems.
Yeah, we've definitely got a power outage here, and it appears as though the lights are coming back on here in the press box, but I don't see the lights coming on the field just yet. And despite what you're seeing, I can tell you that if you know anything about cameras, the gain is up all the way to give you a view of the field, but it is extremely dark out there right now, and no way they can possibly play. Some of the assistants are running off the field now, probably checking a breaker or two, I would imagine. You want to get the pull up some of the pickup trucks and cars and turn the headlights on?
We might have to.
Think?
You know, the one thing about being situated here just off a couple of streets at the facility, we might be able to do that.
Well, and Stephen F. Austin scoring early was kind of key, taking that 7-0 lead just, 19 seconds into the game, and then a power outage. Scoreboard's out. Lights are out on all 4 of the main light stands, the poles, and I don't see any flickering or anything to indicate that they're going to be coming on real soon.
That's a great point. Sometimes after the power goes out, you see the lights starting to come back on. It takes a period of several minutes before they're fully functional, but right now there's not any flicker. We're going to step aside, take a break, and hope to find the lights, the power. Not Jeff, the power in the stadium. 7-0 SFA. After nearly a 2-hour delay because of lights here at Husky Stadium, they're back on. The power is working here at Husky Stadium. Jeff Power, Brett Dolan here. Again, nearly a 2-hour delay, Jeff. We were less than 1 minute into our game, and the unique aspect of this, of course, is the teams have had to be back on the field and warm up for a second time before we're really able to get 1 minute into the game.
I have never been so excited to see lights come on. In fact, there was a huge applause when the lights came on, and it took only about 15 minutes once they were actually fired up to light up the field, and we're ready for some football.
You know, we had quite a bit of action right out of the gates. Braxton Bearden took the kickoff to start the game 2 yards deep in the end zone to about the 3-yard line, almost took it to the house. One play later, it was a touchdown run from Gus Johnson, his 14th of the season. HBU had the football back. They completed a 13-yard pass to Ethan Fry. The play was under review. That's when the lights went out, so you could say that review took quite a bit of time.
Almost 2 hours. Well, needless to say, we'll get the response here from the official right now. Let's go to the field and hear what he has to say about the review.
We're seeing the replay again. Looks like Fry was able to get his hands underneath the football and not drop his knee to the turf, so the play apparently will stand. At least it's marked out there at the 38, where HBU will have it 1st and 10. Quick reset again. The Lumberjacks 4-2 overall, 1-1 in league play. The Huskies, they have that one win, 0-3 in conference action. So
After further review, the ruling on the previous play is a completed catch. First down for HBU at the 39-yard line. Would the game clock operator please put 14 minutes and 17 seconds on the game clock?
I'm glad he's able to do that. We got the power back on the scoreboard before we had it here in the stadium. Kevin Hassel, our referee tonight, indicates we're ready for football action after nearly a 2-hour delay on, ironically, maybe the best weather night of the year in Houston.
Yeah, I mean, no lightning, no rain, and the power goes out, but it does happen a time or two, and we're just excited about playing again. It is a first down now for here for HBU.
Quarterback again is Jonathan Fleming, back after he has not played in the last couple of weeks with a strained MCL.
They're stopping play just to get the clock set again. It went up to 14:22. Now they've got it set for 14:17. We're ready.
So the first ever meeting between these two schools will be one that'll have a little bit of a story. That will go with it. B.J. Kelly is the running back who lines up to the right of Fleming. Huskies have used 3 different quarterbacks this season. They're happy to have Fleming back. And there is Kelly. Kelly twisting down after a couple of yards on the pickup. He's dropped by the defensive tackle, Lance Schuyler.
You know, B.J. Kelly leads HBU in rushing this year. He's got a couple of touchdowns, 321 on the ground. Had a TD against Incarnate Word over in San Antonio. In a game that was a little closer than the score might have indicated. That was a 2-score game in the 4th quarter. That's when Incarnate Word pulled away, I should say.
Vic Sheila used the term disappointment to describe last week's 70-0 loss at Central Arkansas, but I got to believe there was some disappointment with that Incarnate Word game. Certainly a very winnable contest for programs in similar stages as they get going here in Southland Conference action. Fleming to throw over the middle, targeting his big tight end who got crunched, and it's tough to crunch Kenneth Bibbins. All 6'5", 242 pounds, but he got sandwiched between a couple of Lumberjacks.
Yeah, came into the game with 17 catches, 222 yards receiving, 3 touchdowns. He's kind of the go-to guy as we take a look at the offensive line.
There's your starters. Big men up front, of course. B.J. Kelly, the running back. Darian Lazard, a late scratch tonight. He has a partial tear of his labrum. They hope to get him back later on this season. 3rd down and about 8 to go. The scoreboard down marker not working, but it is 3rd and 8.
We'll take it.
And that's a hit that'll drop the HBU ball carrier well short of the first down. Out there in space was Adjun, and meanwhile there's your defense for the Lumberjacks. Miles, one of the big guys up front, who will make a lot of tackles. They'll also have a linebacker, though, who will be involved in plenty. That's Colin Garrett. He almost has twice as many tackles as anybody else on this Lumberjacks roster. We'll also take a look at their secondary as they get off the field. And Christian Guzman will be on to punt. That one partially deflected at the line of scrimmage. It'll take an HBU roll and will not be fielded. It'll bound inside the 25, and the Lumberjacks will have it back.
Got a pretty fortunate bounce right there since it was partially blocked as that ball continued downfield. I think HBU will take that under the circumstances.
Well, here comes the Stephen F. Austin offense back on the field, Jeff. Now, they needed just one play to score a touchdown. You see Zach Hawk, the quarterback, he's a very good runner in addition to those numbers you see as far as through the air. Started his college career at UTSA playing for Larry Coker. The man who recruited him, Travis Bush, now the offensive coordinator at the U of H, but he is the coach's son. And Gus Johnson, who scored that touchdown, off to the races again. Gus Johnson, one of the special players in this conference, cannot be tackled by one man, although he's finally dropped from behind by Dominic Barnett after a huge gain on first down.
Yeah, Gus Johnson is just so elusive, and then you get to see the power and the speed, almost a slippery jersey. Looked like HBU having trouble just getting a hand on him right there as he found a way to cut through the middle, used a stiff arm there, and just broke free for some big yardage.
Almost a 35-yard pickup. You see Barnett, the Houston kid, with a tackle from behind. But Johnson, 6th nationally in rushing. He is averaging almost 9 a carry. So that touchdown run dropped his average a bit. He's trying to make up for it here as he's tackled on the boundary on a first down play. It was Terrell Brown III, one of those there on the stop for this HBU defense. Back to your starters for the Lumberjacks. There's the line, a men up front. They've got some big guys, including Byron Williams. Meanwhile, there's your backs and receivers. Tyler Boyd last week, he caught 11 balls in the win on the road at Nichols.
Yeah, he's one of their go-to receivers.
Quick pass, and it's into the hands again and complete of Aaron Thomas. Thomas slips out of a tackle. He'll find the end zone. He'll take it in from 36 yards. And Aaron Thomas has his first touchdown of the season.
Yeah, he's one of the receivers that lights it up here for SFA. Almost 400 yards receiving. He looked good right there on his 24th catch of the year. But you got to tackle better than that if you're HBU. A couple of missed tackles, that could have been just a relatively short gain.
Well, it's a good point. This is an explosive offense, really both in rushing the football and passing. You can't afford to allow shorter plays to become big plays because of tackling. So Jordan Wiggs on to add his second extra point in the course of, well, just a couple of minutes of game time, but over the course of more than 2 hours of real time. So HBU will get the football back. That's the good news. The bad news, they're down 14-0.
Talk about this offense. SFA's been very potent offensively. They're balanced. They can run it. They can throw it. But this is a play that was almost intercepted. And then there's 2 missed tackles right there. So if you're HBU, you preach the fact that we had everybody in the right position. We just didn't execute the play. But it's unfortunate because that was the right play call defensively.
Taylor Thompson, the last man to miss. Tyler Stevenson was the first one to have a chance to make a play. And now you see Aaron Thomas off to the end zone. And you talked about balance, though. This team, how balanced, you may ask? Well, I'll tell you. How about the fact that the Lumberjacks averaged 299 yards passing, 298 yards rushing. So that's not only balanced, that's very good.
That's very good. Almost 600 yards right there. Aaron Thomas, by the way, out of Burnett, Texas. Played his high school ball at Burnett High School there. Most of the players here for the Lumberjacks call the state of Texas home, and you're going to find that is the case in the Southland Conference with the Texas schools. But they know the importance of playing well. And the first ever meeting here in Houston, too. They know they've got some recruits here that are watching.
Mason Jewell will do the kicking off. Thompson, one of those deep, along with, well, that ball's just going to bounce into the end zone. So it'll be a touchback. It was the 2 Thompsons back there, Taylor and Steven.
You know, we talked about the keys earlier for HBU, about taking care of the football, but having the positive plays and that balanced offense. I mean, that starts with establishing a run and a pass. They were able to pick up the first down last time they had the ball. So no foul right there, but you want to have that balance. And it starts, one thing that HBU has been able to do, not only this year, but even last year in the shortened 7-game schedule, they've been able to run the football, and they need that. They need to get, you know, the basics of being able to pick up those 4 and 5 yards on first down, because it makes the play calling so much easier on 2nd and 3rd down.
Sure does. There you see Fleming, B.J. Kelly, the running back in the first series. I would imagine We'll also see Larry Day. Terrence Peters, though, dealing with a high ankle sprain. One of a handful of wounded players for HBU. Second running back lined up to the left of Fleming is Adjan. And it's B.J. Kelly who will carry it. Boy, running room tough to come by, working that left side of the line. Running into some of those white and purple jerseys.
Yeah, Kelly, not much running room there. As great pursuit on the defensive side of the ball there by SFA. One of the keys that we talked about from them was that strong, not only defensive pass rush, but being able to work the line and string plays out like that.
Yeah, pass rush is the big one. They're 5th nationally in sacks. This was a defense that just wasn't, quite frankly, any good last year. They've made great strides this season. Not on this play, says B.J. Kelly. B.J. Kelly with a big play and dropped it about the 40-yard line. Demondre Freeman may have saved a touchdown, but you love the effort for the young man from Waco.
B.J. Kelly runs hard, has a lot of power and good speed. Watch as he goes right through the hole, up the middle. Didn't need much of a gap there, but broke a couple of tackles. Good, strong play right there.
32-yard pickup, but he lost his hat on that carry. He gets up, he took a pretty good shot, and then also lost his helmet. Talk about getting your bell rung.
He shakes it off. Yeah, he'll have to come out.
He started backpedaling to the wrong sideline. I thought that's not a good sign. And he lost his hat, so we'll get that fixed. I've been saying this for years. They don't make chin straps like they used to. Every play you see somebody's helmet pop off.
High school level too, no question about it. All the improvements on the helmets, they keep the air out. Chin straps are coming off.
Into the game is Craig Bell. Bell will work the left side of the line, get inside the 35-yard line before he's dropped. Pretty good pursuit that time by the defense for the Lumberjacks, including Justin Owens, the linebacker, second on the team in tackles.
I like the call right there, picking up some good yardage on the ground. Now they've got a very manageable 3rd and 3 here. Kind of opened that playbook up.
3rd and 3, the scoreboard all game long is at 1st and 10, so that has not been the case. Meanwhile, there's Craig Bell. He's going to take it to the house for a touchdown from HBU. 35-yard run. And that's his first touchdown of the season.
Well, we talked about HBU having a pretty explosive run game, not only last year, but also in the early parts of this season at times. And we really saw it demonstrated there on that particular drive. Some big plays on the ground. And nothing will keep the defense guessing more than being able to run the football.
Young man from Sweeney finds the end zone. Travis Shin on to add the extra point. Hit the upright. He was 14 of 15 this season. That one didn't look good from the beginning. That tempers some of the enthusiasm, but the HBU offense, well, that's worth the dance when you're on the board.
A couple of powerful plays right there as Craig Bell, watch him just get through this hole quickly, and no one's there to stop him 5 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. Great play, great run right there by Craig Bell. And hats off to the offensive line for HBU, doing a nice job up front on this drive.
Bad angle from the safety Patrick Martin, who then got toasted by the run from Craig Bell. So B.J. Kelly had the first big play in that drive, but Bell gets the touchdown, and the Huskies are on the board. And already, Jeff, better than last week when they were shut out at Central Arkansas.
Well, and you remember against Abilene Christian, they came out, got that quick touchdown on the board early, and there's nothing like scoring early in the first quarter to kind of build the momentum up. There's a good shot of Vic Shealy right there. He's got to feel pretty good about what his offense was just able to do. Now he needs a defensive effort here. If you're SFA, you've had no trouble at all moving the football down the field, so stick with what you've been doing best.
I talked about this SFA defense. Coach Conk had, I thought, an interesting term earlier this week on the Southland Conference conference call when he said we were just an emotionally wrecked defense at times last year. And he's tried to change that. A wounded defense was his term. And part of what he's wanted to do is put forth a better defensive effort this year. They have until last drive when HBU carved them up for the score.
Well, they had a big win last week against Nichols, 42-20, and that was coming right after the loss to Central Arkansas, 49-39. And you know that's a game Coach Conk wanted to win, facing his old team.
Here's the run up and the kick. Aaron Piper is the deep man, and he's going to bring it out. He saw what Braxton Bearden did earlier. Number 8, now it's 88 with the football. He fights forward for a few yards. I don't know if that's advised that deep to bring it out, but both times it's worked pretty good for SFA.
Well, they're seeing some opportunities, and it's almost like, well, when they stop it, we'll stop running out. You know, we were talking about the success that SFA has had offensively through the years, but Jeremy Moses holds a lot of passing records in the Southland Conference. Former SFA quarterback, won the Walter Payton Award. That's the FCS equivalent of the Heisman Trophy. That was back in 2010. He's on this staff as an assistant coach.
Conk back, stepping up in the pocket to throw. Now he's being chased. Conk's a big kid. He took a big hit. He's hard to bring down. He's finally dropped. Taylor Thompson was there. A couple of the linemen had a shot at him, including Josh Jones. And one of the Huskies extent of the field, that's Aaron Benson, the linebacker, the UT transfer.
Yeah, out of Cedar Hill, Texas. And he came in and made a big hit right there. But he's the one that's shaken up on the play. Sometimes, you know, there's a collision happening every time you make a tackle, and sometimes the defensive player feels it more than the offensive player. I think he found out real quickly just how big the quarterback is for SFA, Conk.
Aaron Benson being helped up. That's a good sign. And there have been a few bumps and bruises for this Huskies team. Benson, the junior out of Cedar Hill, and you know, Coach Shealy has talked about the fact that in a couple of years, a lot of these freshmen and redshirt freshmen will be juniors and seniors. But oftentimes when freshmen come into this program, you know, they might redshirt or another program where you're not going to play right away and you have an opportunity to figure out how things work. Well, that's really not an option for these HBU players. They're figuring this grind out as they go. And they're going to have to try and figure that man out. Gus Johnson, he's a load to bring down. He's finally dropped after a nice pickup that'll move the sticks.
Yeah, Terrell Brown the third on the tackle right there. He's out of Fresno, Texas. This ball, he just kind of got the good little gap up the middle and then broke to the outside. And you see how elusive Johnson is. He can just make things work by cutting to the outside there.
Josh Irwin also involved on that stop. So Conk back with all kinds of time. Dialing up the deep ball for Aaron Thomas. Did he catch it? Boy, he had multiple opportunities to kind of rein that one in. Hit his head on the back of that leg of the HBU defender, maybe even the ground. Let's see this one again.
Great job by the SFA offensive line, giving Conk plenty of time to throw it. And then it was just kind of a jump ball right there, and you see at the last minute, Eric Amoako was able to kind of knock it away. Of course, Amoako out of Navasota, or check that, out of Martin, and also played at Oregon.
Yeah, Oregon transfer. There's Gus Johnson burrowing across the 40. He'll pick up a couple of yards. It'll be 3rd and long. Getting him to the bottom of that pile was Josh Irwin. He was not on the 2-deep roster, but Irwin has seen playing time. He is the safety from Alvin.
Key play here early on. HBU with the momentum with that touchdown, and they could use a defensive stop right here.
Johnson not in the game. Empty backfield. Kong, a little shovel pass, a flip to West. Joshua West got a nice block. Gets another one on the corner. Down the sidelines, he's going to go, but there's flags at about the 30. So the Lumberjacks think they have a touchdown. This one more than likely coming back.
Yeah, there was a holding call right about the 30-yard line, but still a first down for SFA, and they'll move the chains.
When you see multiple flags on the play, that was one that was not missed by the officiating crew. And again, our referee tonight is Kevin Hassel.
Holding. Offense, number 89. 10-yard penalty for the spot of the foul. Results in a first down.
Yeah, that's one of those spot fouls, so they get the first down, which is the most important thing, but no need to hold right there. I mean,
it's right there. There you go.
There's the hold right there, no question. But the way that these SFA backs and receivers have been breaking through the defensive backfield and secondary, there's really no need to hold right now.
So Henderson, the guilty party. It is a first down. They are on the 43 of HBU. Little pass in the flats. That's Aaron Piper. Piper will pick up about 11 on the play.
Yards after catch right there. There's another example. That first down was picked up because of the receiver and the lack of tackling there by HBU. Piper, great move by him picking up the first down.
That's a big quarterback in Zach Conk, 6'5", 230 pounds. Conk going to the end zone. He had a man wide open, couldn't quite drop it in the bucket. The pass was intended for DJ Ward, but incomplete. And the Woodlands native wanted a touchdown back here in the Houston area. On coverage was Dominic Barnett.
Yeah, a lot of players from the Houston area here with the Lumberjacks. We'll hear from some of them a little bit later on, but decent coverage here too, but definitely had a step on his man. If that ball was a little bit more accurate, that would have been a touchdown for SFA.
Second down run for Johnson. I thought it was well defended, but he stayed on his feet and continued forward. That's the tough part about bringing down Gus Johnson. Stevenson was able to drop him, but he's not a guy, Jeff, that can be tackled with just one defender more often than not.
Yeah, and right there you've got two players closing in on him, and their weight kind of countered each other and allowed Gus Johnson just to break free for another first down.
Inside the HBU red zone, so after the Huskies got that touchdown, you know they'd like to find a way to get a stop. Easier said than done. Little pass for Tyler Boyd. Remember, he had the big game last week. Should have another first down. He's inside the 10. He's marked out at about the 6. So Tyler Boyd approaching 40 receptions on the season. One of the many Dangerfield, Texas natives on this team.
Big part of this offense, almost 400 yards, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, Dangerfield up in East Texas, not too far from Nacogdoches.
Joshua West rather than Johnson in here. West with the carry, but he is going to have a hard time. He was able to step out of the first tackle from Chris Anthony, but not the second.
Carry by West.
Again, nice piece of running right there by West. He was able to pick up some yardage here, just dragging a defender. Well, maybe not.
Cody Moncure cleaned up.
Good shot at Kenneth Bibbins there, watching from the sidelines.
Well, he occupies most of your screen. That's a big tight end.
He does.
Second and goal for SFA. Conk with a lot of time to throw. Remember, he's dangerous with his feet. And he'll walk into the end zone for the third SFA TD.
Good for the score for
He ran for 3 of those last week, Jeff.
Yeah, that's his 9th rushing touchdown on the season. He can run the football over 250 yards rushing coming in to go with that almost 1,400 yards passing. And that's what he can bring, is the ability to pass, to run, comes out of the pocket well. Really a good all-around quarterback.
Even when you defend those receivers downfield, you have to account for him. Wiggs will add another extra point. It's 21-6. Stephen F. Austin.
And that's the tough part if you're on that HBU defense. It's almost like, who do you key in on? I mean, they've got Gus Johnson. He's already tough enough to break down, as we've already seen. And then they've got a quarterback in Zach Conk who's so elusive. Watch him just sprint right up the middle, untouched into the end zone. I mean, he's got the speed, he's got the size. And we saw earlier Aaron Benson tried to bring him down and was hurt on the play, the defender for HBU, so he's got a big frame. And they've got great receivers too. You know, Tyler Boyd, Aaron Thomas, these guys are, you know, similar statistics, all around 400 yards receiving.
I think in future years you might see some more explosive type receivers for SFA. That was at least the pedigree for Coach Conk in Central Arkansas. They have more consistent type guys here, not the explosive type wide receivers, but they lead 21-6. The Huskies had that nice drive for the score in their last possession, but they're going to have to do it again after giving up the score on defense.
Well, and all you can control is the next play. And that's what the coaches are telling them. You know, offense, they're going to worry about themselves right now and try to just keep pace at this point.
A couple of new guys in to return the kick. D'Angelo Wallace He's not going to take a knee. He's going to bring it out. Young man from Cibolo runs out of room on the boundary right across the 20-yard line. It was Muhammad on a special teams tackle for the Lumberjacks.
Yeah, Wallace has some good speed. You got a little bit of a display of it right there as the HBU Huskies will start off on their own 28. So far, so good for Fleming. He's looked pretty good offensively, and again, helped tremendously this last time by the running game with B.J. Kelly and Craig Bell picking up some huge gains that could open up the passing game.
Larry Day now gets his crack. Larry Day with a head of steam. And a strong run as he burst forward. He was dropped by Nick Bryant, the linebacker, but I love the way these HBU running backs are accelerating through that hole.
Yeah, there's not a huge hole there, but they just get through it very quickly. You see right there, that's a good size hole as Day busts through, doesn't go down on the first hit. Almost a first down.
Yeah, he gained 9 in the play. He'll pick up the first down here. He's up at about the 37. Bottom of that pile was Lance Schuyler again from Lancaster, Texas.
All starts with the running game, and you like those 2nd and 1s if you're the offensive coordinator.
Clint Conk felt like maybe they were exposed a bit in their running game last week against Nichols. HBU has had some success here on the ground. They'll go to the ground again. There's Larry Day. You can see him looking for a hole, and he came up and took a vicious shot. It was Ahmad Muhammad who made that special teams tackle, a freshman from Plano. He was able to try and deliver a strong blow, and you'll see this one again.
That's what you call shooting the gap right there. Look at this hit right on the tail end of it. Oh, man, that just knocked the daylights out of Day.
Like Gumby, he was bent back over
I think the hole might have actually been towards the right. It looks like he could have cut to the right somehow. There was some open space, but
it'll be 2nd and 7. Low snap. Fleming was able to handle it, but Day is going to be wrapped up and thrown backwards. Just nowhere to go. It was Kedrick Harrison who made the stop, and he's hurt. Cold Spring native. I'm not sure what happened. He had great penetration, but you see him down on his knees, and we'll have to take another look to see what transpired.
That's an NFL move right there. Look at the speed coming in from the far side and making the tackle. Nicely done. Might have got a kind of a, well, I'm not going to speculate, but that foot hit a soft spot. Sometimes there's just no way to shake that off. You just got to gather yourself and get to the sidelines.
That he will do.
Yeah, that everything happened so quickly on a play like that, but took a shot to the abdomen area, we'll call it.
That works.
The lower abdomen.
Yeah, the sophomore now jogging off the field, and he'll probably be back in soon. It was a 2nd and 7. Now it's a 3rd and long for the Huskies. They have to reach the 47.
I was talking with Scott Smith before the game, and he was talking about needing positive plays, and they could use one right here. The way they've been running it, little play action.
See if Fleming can get back in the mix through the air. Bibbins is big tight end lined up to the right. Both receivers flanked out to the left, including Ethan Fry, who made a catch earlier. Going up top, and that one's picked. Intercepted. Alex Miller trying to get to the boundary. Miller stays on his feet, and he's finally tackled at about the 10. Bibbins threw him down, but Alex Miller, his first pick of the year, the junior from Allen, caught a pass that floated a bit on Fleming, and the Lumberjacks and their fans back in business.
Well, on top of that, when Fleming released the ball, D'Angelo Wallace slipped and fell, and there was no place for that ball to go but into a white and purple jersey. You see Wallace on the ground right there, and then it's picked off. Unfortunate break for HBU, but SFA, opportunistic defense. Now they're knocking on the door again.
Gus Johnson back in the game, lined up to the left of Conk. Conk ran in the previous score. Little bubble screen, and that pass was well defended. Good hit quickly by Terrell Brown III, the linebacker out there in coverage as they threw down Aaron Thomas.
Yeah, Terrell Brown III, they had that play read correctly. Nice form tackle.
Lumberjacks can get a first down if they reach the 2. Second down play given to Johnson. Johnson just lost his footing, kind of tackled himself as he went into the knees of Barnett. Shy of the 10.
HBU's had some trouble here on third down. This is a chance for them right here to at least try to hold SFA to a field goal and keep this game manageable. When you're coming off a game where you lose 70-0, manageable is what you're looking at. You want to try to manage the game and try to hang close if you can, going into the locker room.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the longer they stay close, the better they play early, shifts all the pressure onto their opponents.
Correct. Builds the confidence. I mean, HBU's ran the ball well so far. You can build off that. Defense needs to make a stop. Need to make it on third down. That's always the key in football. Got to make those third down stops.
DJ Ward, Tyler Boyd, the 2 receivers lined up to the left. That's the wide side. Conk, though, looking to the right, has to dance out of that pocket, and he is going down. Conk was dropped. Josh Jones, his 5th sack of the year, was Johnny on the spot to drop that big QB.
And Jones had 4 of those sacks in the first 2 games and has been kind of riddled with injuries since, but good to see him back on the field tonight. And look at the pressure from the outside edge right there of number 46. Nicely done by Jones.
He had a little bit of help, but that's an outstanding defensive play by this Huskies defense. It'll force a field goal from Wiggs rather. 4 of 6 this year. His long is 33. This is a 33-yard kick, and it has enough, and it sails through the uprights, and it is good. So the Lumberjacks have scored on every drive. Their lead over HBU, 24-6, late first here at Husky Stadium. Boy, the Lumberjack. That's one-cut Lumberjack. If you're going to wear that shirt, you better be. You're going to do all those push-ups.
I saw him down on the field before the game, and I kind of motioned towards him that you might get quite a workout tonight.
I tell you, anybody who's swinging an axe, I stay away.
Yeah.
It's a good rule of thumb.
Yeah, a lot of the purple showed up in droves tonight. Good crowd. And, and also, hey, hats off to the crowd for hanging out for almost 2 hours with our power outage earlier. Good to see.
It's fun to see these fans stick around. A beautiful night, that helps. Got to tell you, though, these Huskies are confusing me with their kickoffs. They're running different personnel in there every single kickoff, and they've had a little practice tonight because it's 24-6 Stephen F. Austin, but it's the Thompson duo, Taylor and Stephen, back, hoping for a chance to return this kick from Mason Jewell, and it's a good, strong boot. Little send, well, Thompson a couple of yards deep in the end zone. Taylor will take a knee, and the Huskies have it back. Jeff, what have you seen tonight offensively from HBU that's impressed you?
The running game, the 2 big plays, of course, on the ground, and really, if you think about it, it's not just the big bursts that they've been able to pick up, but it's the ability to pick up the 5-yard gains too that are setting up for good second and third down, and then they're able to run out of those plays as well. But they still need to try to find a way to pass the football. The 1 interception hurt Fleming on that last drive and pretty much directly resulted in 3 points for SFA.
You could understand if maybe Fleming had his timing just a little bit off, considering he hasn't played now in a few weeks. But you're right. The way they're running the football, they need to find a few yards through the air. B.J. Kelly joined in the backfield by Adjin.
I wouldn't be surprised if Bibbins gets involved here more on this drive.
Carry forward for a couple of yards, courtesy of B.J. Kelly out to the 29.
Good to see him back on the field after being shaken up earlier as HBU runs up to the line of scrimmage here real quickly. Sometimes they'll snap it out of this formation.
Quick tempo working in the favor of HBU. A physical run from B.J. Kelly. Not dropped easily. Finally, Avery Henderson, the linebacker, got him, but that's good for a first down.
When you see B.J. Kelly in person, you're not really intimidated. He doesn't have that big, tall stature, but he is a powerful runner. Watch this. That's an extra 3 or 4 yards on sheer power. Look at the drive with his legs.
Talking about a guy who's 5'9", 180. He delivered a blow, and there's another one. Slips out of the tackle from Henderson. Continues up to about the 44, and another helmet came flying off, and that's Kelly. That's twice today he's lost his hat.
He gets some glue, I think. Well, he runs so hard, his helmet can't keep up with it.
Let's watch this one again. You talk about a physical runner. I mean, boom, you can't bring him down with the first 2 guys. Steps out of a tackle, he's still on his feet.
And that's when the helmet comes off. I tell you, BJ, you got to love his heart. He runs with a lot of passion out there. Good kid, too.
Muhammad dropped him after a pickup of 5 yards, and the football now kind of approaching midfield. Craig Bell has the touchdown for HBU.
When they picked up their first win last year, BJ Kelly was so excited up in the panhandle.
It's Craig Bell here. He had the long touchdown scamper for the HBU points. He'll be shy of the first down, but it's 3rd and short. And Jeff, any team wants 3rd and shorts, but really you can see where it's important to stay on schedule for this Huskies offense so that they can run if they can't get passes through the air. Yeah, absolutely. And you know, the way their offensive line, they're producing some holes here. Stick with it. Then later in the game, go to some play action. Craig Bell trying to get that first down. It's going to be awfully close. You see a lot of jerseys in there, and maybe with that spot, I think he'll have it. Well, there's the motion to move down, move the chains. Donald Bryant, the junior, was on the bottom of that pile, but not good enough for SFA. The Huskies moved the sticks, much to the delight of the fans who stuck out this 2-hour delay because of the lights here at Husky Stadium. Things happen, you know. New stadium, things are going to happen. You've got to be prepared for all. Have some movement here at HBU. Might have been Quadre Wilson.
Start. Number 4, offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
That was the freshman from Manville.
Well, and I'll tell you what else, you know, kind of early observation here. The ability to run the football and to extend these drives is going to give their defense a little bit of a breather, and they're going to need a break every time. There's no question about it. They're going to have a hard time stopping Stephen F. Austin's offense. So they need to at least be rested as much as possible. Agreed. Keep that defense off the field at times, sustain some lengthy drives. That should bring us to the end of our first quarter. The clock stopped after that penalty. And we played 1 quarter in 3 hours. What are you talking about? Well, that comes with a bit of a notation. SFA leads HBU 24-6 after 1 quarter at Husky Stadium. First quarter belonged to Stephen F. Austin, 24-6. But Jeff, there are some positives for HBU. Yeah, they outrushed them 112-73. So 15 carries, 112 yards on the ground. Nice job from that offensive line for the Huskies. I was trying to build on the positives. But Stephen F. Austin, no question about it, their offense is as potent as an offense we're probably going to see all season long here in the Southland Conference. They're going to be involved in a lot of high-scoring games. Program on the rebuild. They won 3 games last year. For the Huskies, this is their first official season. Trying to get that first conference victory, one that I think Coach Shealy believes once they get that first, that'll really kind of kickstart things towards more. Although, boy, Craig Bell just has nowhere to go, thrown backwards by about 5 different Lumberjack defenders. Well, this year, I mean, you can look at games where, you know, the same opponent. Well, Stephen F. Austin beat Incarnate Word 38-3. And HBU lost to Incarnate Word 31-8. And that just kind of sort of just gives you something to kind of balance to get an idea about the talent level and the difference in the quality. That previous play hurt, though. That was a loss of 5, so 2nd and 15. See if the Huskies look to go to the air with Fleming. He threw that first pass to Ethan Fry for a completion. Been tough ever since.
That one should be good for a couple of yards, but not much after the initial contact.
Well, and Fleming right there kind of had a little fist pump right there. You know, that's a pickup of 5 or 6 yards. You can't get it all back, and it's at least third and less than 10 yards for HBU's offense.
Maxwell Brown with that reception, so it is 3rd and 11. They're shy in midfield. Football marked at the 49 of HBU. Remember, Darian Lazard, the wide receiver, out with a partial tear of his labrum. Fleming throwing across his body, and the pass intended for a Wallace incomplete. He got hung up to dry a bit. Trey Valier came racing in from a safety spot and was trying to have that eraser type tackle.
Yeah, D'Angelo Wallace, it looks like he didn't come out of his break quick enough. By the time he turned around, it was almost too late. That ball was almost by his ear hole, and he couldn't catch it, but then took a hit on top of that, and that's always the tough break there. Fleming, you see him on the bench there. That ball was pretty much on the money. It was catchable.
Christian Guzman averages 44 yards of boot, sending one in the direction of Aaron Thomas, who scored a touchdown already today. Took a hit but stayed on his feet. Look out now. Thomas trying to get that blocking set up, and he's ridden down shy of the 30-yard line. Kind of a dangerous play, not to call a fair catch, but he got loose and was able to pick up some positive yards before he was dropped by Taylor Thompson.
And I tell you what, you know, special teams, you know, you hear the NFL talking about wanting to maybe almost do away with kickoffs and things like that, trying to, you know, keep the injuries down. But you can see, I mean, there's a big hit right there that if you're on the receiving end of that, you've got to call a fair catch right there. But the tackle's not made. They pick up an extra 15 yards, and I guess that's why you do it.
Well, Terrell Brown had the shot for the big hit. Didn't get it, so here comes Conk and company. They've scored, remember, have the Lumberjacks on every drive so far tonight. Trying to continue that streak. A little more Gus Johnson. Finally, he's escorted out of bounds on the boundary by Dominic Barnett after he gained 4 in the play. You know, one guy we've not heard a lot of tonight is that man, big number 40, Garrett Dolan, came in averaging about 10 tackles a game. One of the best in the conference in the country, but they've stayed away from him.
Yeah, Dolan with 53 tackles coming in. He's always around the ball, but SFA's kind of hit HBU with some big plays, and it's pretty much been wherever Dolan has not been.
2nd and 5. Dolan had a chance there to make a tackle. Unable to do so as Johnson races forward to move the sticks and pick up another Lumberjack first down just shy of midfield. That's a pickup of 15 yards on the play.
Yeah, good play right there. And they're just so balanced. I mean, you talked about it, almost 300 yards passing, 300 yards rushing on the ground. And albeit now they're getting into kind of the meat of their Southland Conference schedule, those numbers will come down, but you can see the talent out there.
Conk with time to throw, zips a pass over the middle. It's incomplete, intended for Boyd. There were a lot of Huskies in the vicinity.
2nd down and 10.
Yeah, Dolan was right there. We mentioned that he hadn't been around the plays. Now all of a sudden he's right around the next 3.
You almost expect him to be around the football at all times.
That's the job of a linebacker. He should be around the ball, at least to the ball that's anywhere in that range of about 10 yards around him.
One thing I asked Vic Shealy this week about is what has he learned through this process of playing every week compared to last week, again with the 7 games and having some downtime between games. Here comes an end around try by Aaron Piper. Piper fighting for yards on the boundary, and he steps out at about the 46. What Shealy told me is he's having a hard time finding on-field leadership with so many young kids. 30 redshirt freshmen, 27 true freshmen. He said Dolan is an example of one of those kids who's kind of taken over that leadership role. But you can understand, you come into a program with a lot of juniors and seniors, that leadership is already established. They have to find it here with HBU.
Yeah, and you know, Dolan was at the Southland Conference Media Days in Lake Charles, and well-spoken, good kid, good heart, and he is definitely a leader.
Low pass was incomplete, intended for West out of the backfield. He was going to have a big gainer had that pass been a little bit taller from Zach Conk, but it's incomplete.
Yeah, their formations, they're pretty hard to stop, but if you're HBU right now, you're feeling pretty good. A couple stops in a row now.
Yep, get off the field.
Yeah, this isn't about the scoreboard. It's about, you know, trying to get some rhythm going. They've now put together a couple of stops defensively. They've run the ball well offensively. You build off that. The game's still manageable. You build off that, you know.
Nick Bruno's punt in the direction of Lazarine will be taken inside the 10, and there's just nowhere to go. That's a throwdown of a tackle by Colin Garnett.
And I'll tell you another thing I've kind of noticed here in the, let's say, 12, 13 games now we've seen HBU play. The difference you see is not necessarily with the first teamers on offense and defense. You pick up the difference on special teams because the other team is putting a better player on the field in special teams. They've got faster return men, they've got better kickers, and that's where the difference is. And you really see the difference in special teams. You know, if you're Houston Baptist, if you can find a way to not give up the big play on special teams and make a few big plays every now and then on special teams as well, that's where, you know, you can pick up some extra yardage.
Might help equalize the game at times. Larry Day checks in as the running back lined up to the right of Jonathan Fleming. Might see a few handoffs deep in their own territory, and Day purges forward for a couple of yards. Not a lot of room available. And you see the big defensive end there to make the stop was Joseph for SFA.
Well, I guarantee you SFA is going to start putting 8 in the box here pretty soon. They're going to try to make Fleming throw the football. And they got a lot of guys crowding around the box now.
Just nothing there.
I mean, the odds are not in your favor when you're going 5 on 8. And that's why the play action comes into work there. And I know that I talked about Bibbins earlier. He's kind of been their leading receiver at that tight end position. Lays down a good block, goes out for 5 yards and picks up 5 yards on the catch. That's what you're looking for. He's got such great size too.
3rd and 9, called it for HBU. Inside 11 minutes to go here in our second quarter.
Pretty tight formation here.
Fleming lucky just to get that snap back. Puts this one up for grabs. He will sail it to the boundary. Best individual with a chance to make a play was Maurice Pollard, the corner, hoping that ball would stay in play, but he couldn't get there, and the Lumberjack defense will get off the field.
Yeah, the snap was pretty much right where it needed to be. Fleming just kind of took his eye off it, and it sort of disrupted the whole play. And at this point, he threw into double coverage, but did the right thing and got rid of it and lived to play another down.
Christian Guzman punting from his own end zone. He likes to do that rugby style and kicks them out awfully low. Lucky to get that one off, but Aaron Thomas thinks he has a chance to return. Aaron Thomas with a head of steam, stays on his feet even at the 30. And that's where he will be dropped. And we've seen this Lumberjack special teams unit, whether it's punt return or kick return, looking to make plays all night.
Yeah, that's where they're picking up some major yardage and putting their offense in a good position. They've got short fields to work with, and that puts the HBU defense in a tough situation as well, obviously. But you've got to tackle, and special teams is all about tackling. Maybe a hold right there, but
I think it was our last game against Abilene Christian. We did not have a single punt or kickoff until the 4th quarter that did not have an accompanying flag. So we've been a little better tonight, not on that play.
Well, I think it's in everyone's best interest to not have too many flags tonight. We had a 2-hour delay via the power outage, so.
So instead of being set up almost in field goal range to begin their drive at the HBU 30, football goes all the way back to the SFA 42. Time out on the field. We'll step aside. 24-6, Stephen F. Austin.
And welcome back to Huskies Stadium here. SFA leading 24-6. Caught up with Vic Sheely before the game and just got his thoughts about where the program is right now and his excitement about playing this game against SFA tonight.
Well, I think we got to get turnovers on defense. We got to flip the field. We got to do a good job making first downs on offense, keep their offense off the field and move the football, and then, score when we get in the red zone. So I think it's going to be to take a great effort, but I'm excited. We've had good practice, and that's all you can ask for kids.
And I like what he said about a good week at practice. I mean, this first quarter, HBU, I mean, I know the score doesn't really indicate it at 24-6, but you've seen a lot of passion out there, hard work. They're running the football well. At times they've looked pretty good defensively, just haven't been able to really get off the field. But the last 2 times they were able to get SFA into punting situations. So who knows? But, you know, you can only ask for so much, and you want your team to be competitive, and you want to go into the locker room feeling pretty good about yourself.
Well, I think there's a lot of teams at this portion of the year, about halfway through, might start to maintain and game plan. These 2 programs, a lot of young kids, they're still playing to get better each and every week. Joe Minden in. He's the quarterback that's seen quite a bit of action this year. In fact, he's thrown 50 passes. He's replacing Conk for the time being, but wrapped up right at the marker for no gain.
Yeah, Austin Holly there on the tackle out of Spring, Texas. And where's number 64? And I kind of like the fact that the HBU defense was kind of jawing with each other, sort of, you know, fired up.
So Minden going to look to make a big play. DJ Ward down the boundary, came back for the football, cutting in front of the defender. Stevenson made a heck of a catch. The HBU sidelines, they want an offensive pass interference penalty. They felt like Ward maybe used his hands to come around Stevenson. We'll take another look to see if that was the case, but this ball was thrown well from Minden.
What a beautiful pass, first of all. And tough to see right there if there was any type of pushing or shoving. But a lot of times what will happen is, you know, Tyler Stevenson saying he was pushed in the back, I'm sure. But got to make a play right there.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that was a good effort. Now Gus Johnson's loose. Speaking of effort, that's another touchdown. Gus Johnson has scored 15 touchdowns this season.
What a weapon to have, too. I mean, he runs behind a big offensive line, first of all, but already 83 yards on the night on 10 carries, a couple of touchdowns. I mean, as good as advertised. Got the leg drive, speed, finds the hole quickly. How important is that? I mean, when you watch NFL football on Sunday, these offensive linemen don't keep that hole open for more than 2 or 3 seconds. You got to get to the hole. Johnson does a great job of that.
From the hole to Bruno, Wiggs will pop this PAT into the net beyond the goalpost. 31 on the board for the Lumberjacks.
Back to the push-ups. I don't know, Brad. You think you can do as many push-ups as this young man's going to have to do tonight?
I'm old. It's late. Probably not. I could give it the old college try.
Rich history in Stephen F. Austin. But look at the run right here again. The hole wasn't really there, but he broke to the outside and made his own hole and picks up the touchdown.
Well, Taylor Thompson came racing in. Thought he had a chance to make a play. Watch number 24, whoop, and then he was gone.
Yeah, he shot the gap, but then the gap moved.
You know, Gus Johnson, though, is a running back that they feel like is maybe kind of a once-in-a-generation type player. Timothy Flanders was one of the outstanding running backs in this conference the last few years for Sam Houston. Gus Johnson, similar, but probably even more physical of a runner.
That's a great observation. He does have that similar look as Flanders. You know, Flanders ran behind some really good offensive lines, too, at Sam Houston State. And that ability to find the hole, get through there, and on into the secondary. That's where you make people miss. You know, you're not going to make a defensive lineman miss too often, but if you get back into the secondary, that's where you can shed some tackles.
D'Angelo Wallace with a returnable ball from the 5. Wallace with a stutter step changing direction. Will be popped out of bounds just across the 20. And HBU will have the football back. But now, Jeff, they're in this spot where they've had some positives on the offensive side. They really need, though, to sustain drives, find some points to find a way to get back into this contest.
Yeah, the offense's inability to get any kind of first down that last drive resulted in SFA scoring quickly on the other end. So the 2 previous drives, they were able to run the ball pretty well. They need to get back to just moving the chains, If you're Stephen F. Austin, you know, they've kind of gone into this more 8 in the box, and they're looking for HBU to run it. They're trying to tempt them to pass.
B.J. Kelly's been a physical runner tonight. Nothing available as he ran into the line. He picked up a couple of yards, but he found the big arms of Kedrick Harrison, all 6'2", 246 pounds. He'll gain a yard on the play.
I tell you what, this defensive line for SFA, huge. Speed, size. You can look at the difference. Look at the defensive line and the offensive line. There's some difference right there.
They're a little bit thin up front on the defensive line, but they do have a lot of juniors and seniors with the exception of Harrison, a sophomore. Throwing across his bounty. Pass was complete for a couple of yards to Adjun.
That extra burst, he picked up those extra 3 or 4 yards. That's huge right there. That's going to be 3rd and 1 instead of 3rd and about 3 or 4.
Well, that's the effort that you look for, probably going back over a game tape to see when a player can make a play, gain a couple of extra yards.
Make some football plays, as they say.
Now he's going to try and lead block here for Kelly. He'll fight forward. It's going to be awfully close. He had to reach to 31, and the line judge comes racing in, maybe just a football length shy of where that marker is. Maybe even about half a football. This may require a measurement, and they're going to go ahead and say it's good enough.
I'll tell you that. Watch the effort there. That extra effort by Kelly allowed him to pick up the first down. He just kind of moved the pile an extra half a yard, it seemed, while when it looked like he was down.
Big credit to B.J. Kelly for gaining those tough yards to keep this offense on the field. Fleming with that extended count gives to Kelly again. And there were 3 Lumberjacks involved in the play, including Donald Bryant.
HBU likes the hard count, trying to pick up that extra 5 yards anywhere they can, trying to get the defense to jump off sides. So far, SFA's done a nice job of not taking the bait.
Nearing the 7-minute mark here of quarter number 2. Fleming came in with an accurate passing number this year, right around 59% completing his passes. Been tough sledding tonight, although the Huskies have had success on the ground. Now Fleming with some play action, being pursued. Lobbing one down the boundary. Ethan Fry was being bumped, but he made the catch anyhow. Heck of a play at about the 35-yard line.
Well, there was definitely some contact for the last 5 to 10 yards, but somehow Ethan Fry manages to come up with it. Thought his only need 1 foot in bounds, so now the question is it offensive or defensive pass interference? Let's see.
Well, it's defense. It's on Freeman, number 26.
Pass interference. Defense, number 26. That penalty will be declined. Results of the play.
What great play, though, by Ethan Fry. Came into this game with just 2 catches all season. Had one in the first play, which had the replay and the 2-hour delay, but watch this one again.
It keeps the feet in bounds, too. Look at that. Right, just tiptoeing down on the sidelines there.
Well thrown ball by Fleming. So the Huskies have some momentum. Kelly bounces this one outside. Can he get to the corner? Boy, he was just run down in space. It was Muhammad, the safety, who came sprinting in with the angle to drop Kelly after he gained a pair.
I tell you what, though, if there is one strength for HBU, it is running the football. They have got some talented running backs. They bounce off. You know, if the hole's not there, they're bouncing off and going to the outside. You like to see that determination.
Huskies would also like to see some points. Finish off another drive with either a field goal, preferably a touchdown. And that play blown dead, so movement and
false start. Offense, number 10. 5-yard penalty. Still
Maxwell
second down.
Brown, one of the tight ends.
Yeah, sometimes that hard count will get the best of your own team, and HBU guilty of the flag there. Demo Odom's one of the coaches for the Lumberjacks. Played at Iowa. Was also at LBJ High School in Austin as a head coach there with the Jaguars. More on him in just a moment.
2nd and long. Fleming goes up top again. There's Biggins. Can't bring down Biggins easily. He'll fight forward, competing for maybe another first down right around the 25.
And you like to see that. Bivens has been a big part of their offense really since the very beginning, even last year in the 7 games they played, and not afraid to make that catch in the middle of traffic and close to a first down, but not quite.
Jeff, I need to talk to Coach Shealy about Bivens. Just watching him play, moves well, but he has an NFL-type body. You wonder if there's an opportunity for him coming up at the next level.
Well, why not? He did have a brief stint with the University of Houston.
Well, Kelly ran into his own block, ran into the back of Greg Hadley, the right guard, and that sent him backwards, and he had to recollect and try and fight forward.
Well, I think this is 4-down territory. A little too far for a field goal. They're lobbying for it, aren't they?
Yeah, Kelly said, come on. I should have had it the last time. Let's do it again.
31-6, come on.
But rather than going under center, they'll operate again from the gun. See if Kelly cares. He does. Kelly races forward. He'll have the first down.
And I know some of maybe the old school way of thinking is to get under center, do a quarterback sneak, but Kelly has been their most effective runner tonight. And giving him that extra couple of seconds to have that whole break free there is the key. And so, hey, there you go, first down.
This would be a real big pick-me-up of sorts if the Huskies are able to finish. Still all kinds of time here in our second quarter. Craig Bell is in, replacing Kelly. Bell had the touchdown in the first quarter for HBU. Play fake for Fry into the corner. He caught it. Was he inbounds? No. He took a push. Now you can do that in the college games. Since you only have to have 1 foot down, you can push somebody out of bounds if they're catching it.
Well, that was a great catch, but definitely out of bounds. But take a look at it one more time here just to see exactly where those feet were.
Great shot.
Just couldn't get him down.
Well out of bounds.
Because he was pushed, yeah.
Yep, and you can do that again in the college game.
Yeah, good pick up there because there's no question. He could have got the feet down, but he was pushed. No, it was taken out of his choice there.
Great grab, though, by Fry. Big hole. Craig Bell had it closed quickly. A trio of lumberjacks involved on that stop. Alex Miller had a pick earlier. The safety was in the middle of things.
It's a good little pickup right there.
Carried by Craig Bell Jr.
Craig Bell wants in on the action now.
Takes it to the 18-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 3.
I wouldn't be surprised if they run behind C.J. Barner, number 72. Keep an eye on him. Offensive line, 6'4", 253. On the left side.
On 3rd and 3, number 3 will not carry. They'll go up top. That pass deflected and nearly picked. Harrison got his hands on it, and then almost had time to find it and try and make the interception. But with all the success HBU's had on the ground, they tried to get the first down through the air. But again, I think you're in that same spot, 2-down territory.
Sure. I brought up Barner there. I remember him at Lamar High School, and he's been that big for a while now. When they had that one team that ran to the state championship game and came up short against Allen, they would run behind him all the time. And he came onto the field. I thought that was a little sneak peek at what maybe the play call was going to be, but not quite.
Timeout HBU.
HBU will spend a timeout to talk about this 4th and 3. Watching Jonathan Fleming take his helmet off, it just looks like his entire arm covered in perspiration.
October 25th, next week.
We'll talk things over. We'll step aside. 31-6 SFA. That's a huddle. That's a supersized huddle for the Lumberjacks defense.
I was going to say, take your pick. There's a huddle on each side here. If you look at the HBU cheerleaders here. It's good to have football here on campus. Great to see. Shout out for our videographers. That's actually our HBU video crew there. They do a great job.
Well, I don't think I'd like that at all. That's not any fun being up in that lift, especially when the power went out.
Kind of hard to find the buttons. Huh? Well, there's only one, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
up or down. You're either going up or you're going down. It's all on one button.
Those big Keith Bibbins right there. Would you think he might be a candidate on 4th and 3 to see the football coming in his direction?
I would like that. I think that, you know, maybe run a little play action and find Bibbins open, because the fact that you've got to pick up 3 or 4 tough yards and the way SFA's been putting that extra 8th man in the box, fake that run, find your tight end.
Kenneth Bibbins lines up to the right. Ethan Fry, the receiver, to the left, had a couple of big catches today. The running back is Craig Bell. Fleming looking to the boundary, and his pass is complete. D'Angelo Wallace with his 11th grab of the season will move the sticks.
Inside the 12-yard
Same
line
concept
with
there.
Husky first down.
Took that snap. The pump fake right there. Wallace open on the sidelines. SFA kind of daring him to throw it. Well, hey, HBU's completed a couple passes on this drive now.
Good execution. There's Craig Bell pounding inside the 5-yard line before Alex Miller got him again.
You know, I've seen a lot of football, but there's not too many teams that rotate the running backs in the way HBU does. I mean, they've got the quality backs too, with B.J. Kelly, Larry Day, Craig Bell. So when a player gets hurt or something, they got another guy they can plug in right away.
Good point. Stephen F. Austin wants to call a timeout.
And how about this drive? I mean, we're down to 3 minutes and 3 seconds to play here in the first half. I mean, they're looking at already about 6 or 7 minutes on this drive. It's been pretty impressive, and a lot of it on the ground, but they've been able to mix in the pass a little bit more on this drive.
Don't you think that's what has made this drive successful, the way Fleming's been able to complete a couple of passes?
Absolutely. Just soften them up a little bit. That's all it takes. I go back to the play where he made a 5-yard pass. Seemed insignificant because it was, I want to say, 1st and 15 or so, but he had a pump fist right there as if to say, yeah, we can throw the ball, let's do that again. When sometimes it's the little things that go a long way in helping a drive out. Just give them that, just make them think that there's a chance you may throw it. That's all you're looking for here, especially when you've been able to run the ball pretty well.
Here comes Fleming and company back on the field after the defense called a timeout. Now, the Huskies can pick up a first down. Yeah, absolutely.
This is when it's tough to run it right here. But yeah, you're right. They can pick up a first down. They only need a couple of yards.
Craig Bell with the handoff. Craig Bell, does he have a touchdown? He'll have the first down. The line judge will mark him a little bit short. I thought with that surge he might get in. Wasn't able to get the touchdown. You see one of the Lumberjacks up slowly.
Craig Bell's going to stay in the game. You see how close it was. You see Bell kind of dragging a defender. It was close. I thought he had it right about there, but it was kind of pulled backwards. I tell you, my back couldn't handle something like that.
Donald Bryant was the big man making that stop. He's still holding his wrist in his hand, number 95. See if they might just run at him again. Bell lined up, though, to the right to Fleming. Seconds ticking off, no hurry for HBU. They will run off the left side of the line, and Bell will find the end zone for the second time tonight. HBU with the touchdown.
Great touchdown right there. You see the shirt, ask me if we can run it. Yes, we can. That's what I see so far with HBU, running the football well here in the first half.
So the Huskies, a long, successful march. Hey, another score, another dance.
61 yards now for Craig Bell Jr., a couple touchdowns.
Now Travis Shin missed the previous extra point, needs to knock one through, and he will do just that. 2 to play here in our half. Hey, Craig Bell's fired up. You love the enthusiasm and the energy. Worth another look on his touchdown scamper.
Yeah, look at the hole right here. Just enough. That's all you need when you're that close to the goal line. You're just trying to pick up that extra yard. Nicely done. Plowing over for the touchdown, Craig Bell. Basketball season about to get started here at HBU, but football alive and well. Hey, a good week of practice will go a long way in how you perform on Saturday. You heard Vic. Vic said it. Told us before the game, and they had a good week of practice. And I'm going to be honest with you, and all the times that we've talked to him, you know, he will not often tell you that he was satisfied with the practice all week long. I mean, when you've got a new team, you're tweaking so many things. You're trying to work on all the little details of trying to get better from a day-to-day basis. Maybe it's tough to find all the positives, but finding a positive at practice this week, and it looks like it's kind of matriculating out onto the field on game day.
I think you judge progress in different aspects. Part of getting better is performing better during the week. But what the Huskies have seen at times tonight is some of that progress translate to the field, including that last drive. Probably maybe the most successful one of the season, the way they were able to mix in the pass and the run and eat up a lot of clock.
How about a good kickoff? A little pooch kick, there you go.
Targeted kick from Shin. The football was bobbled. Even then, SFA will get good at field position. It's covered up at about the 32, but no chance for a big play. At the bottom of the pile, covering that fumbled was Eugene Wright for the Lumberjacks.
Well, and you have two situations here for special teams. Either you're going to kick the ball out of the end zone, or if you can't quite get it out of the end zone and they're picking up big yardage on returns, then you go to the pooch kick, and that's why they did it right there. And with 2:05 remaining, and SFA's got to go 70 yards, I mean, it's all about field position.
You know, there's still plenty of time, though, for SFA, so the HBU defense would like to take the gains and improve as well. It's Joe Minden in the game. He's being pursued. Minden fumbled the football, and the Huskies should have it. Boy, it looked like there was a Husky right there, and then the football scored and loose, so there's no guarantee. In fact, SFA got it back. My goodness.
Yeah, that is just a miss.
Had a chance to get it.
That's a missed opportunity right there. But it is a loss of 3 yards. Let's see what happens here. The ball comes loose. It's clearly a fumble.
Nothing but Huskies around it, and Tua just kind of jumped too far beyond the football.
Squeeze the air out of it. There's a big hit. Got to wrap up.
Boy, Minden staying on his feet somehow, despite a couple of big pops. Bottom of that pile was Josh Jones. It'll be 3rd down, so about a minute's come off the clock, and SFA has not gained much, if any, yardage.
Yeah, Joe Minden out of Coppell, Texas. Played for Joe McBride down there, Coppell High School. McBride's now over at Dripping Springs.
3rd and 12. Huskies hoping to get off the field. Minden is still in the game. His pass is caught by a sliding wide receiver, Justice Liggins.
It's going to be short of a 1st down, though.
Coach Shealy wants to burn a timeout. Why not? 50 seconds to go.
I think he's thinking, well, if we somehow can force a punt here, we might have time to try to do something. Plus, maybe give his defense a little break right now. You don't want anything. You don't want to give away any points here in the last 51 seconds. You know, I alluded to the fact earlier, Brett, about trying to keep the game manageable, and I'm not trying to assume that, you know, HBU came in the game thinking they couldn't win it, but you got to be realistic about where your talent level is compared to your opponent. But I would say this is a victory for the Huskies here in the first half tonight. This is probably the best performance we've seen them play all year long, and I'm not worried about the scoreboard. I'm talking about what I've seen on the field. Would you agree?
I think that man would agree as well. And I think the way they've run the football, they've started to mix in the pass. Let's face it, SFA had a lot of success early offensively, but this defense now has had more stops than they have scores allowed in the last basically quarter.
Right, and I'm well aware that HBU beat Texas College 72-6 earlier this year, but everybody's beaten Texas College about like that. So
Lazarine with the catch inside the 20. So now the true test for me is how daring will HBU be? They just had that long sustained drive. They kept SFA from adding to the lead. There's not a lot of time left. Whether they try and probe for a couple of plays to see if they can get a big gainer before they get serious about trying to score, or whether they go conservative.
Well, I think the way I would look at it is, at first you're thinking field goal. Anytime you get put in this kind of situation, you're just trying to get some sort of points. And what would a field goal do for you? Well, it makes it a 2-score game. So possibly the thinking is, all right, we don't need to get 70 or 82 yards here. We need to pick up about 55 yards and get ourselves in field goal range.
There's only 2 receivers right now. Fry to the left in single coverage, man coverage. He's made a couple of big plays. Outside of the right is Ianacho. Instead, they'll go to the ground. There's my answer. And I don't fault this at all, because you don't want to make a mistake after you've just had a nice defensive sequence after that long scoring drive. You don't want a turnover of some sort to give the Lumberjacks maybe a chance for an easy score here at the half.
Well, they're going to snap it pretty quickly here. We'll see.
I'm just hoping for a busted play, though, in this sequence, because I doubt they get too daring with the clock ticking away. Little simple pass play, and that was kind of a dangerous
That was daring.
Nacho, did he lose the football?
Okay, take a knee.
He did lose the football. I think forward progress had been stopped and the whistle had blown, but that's a case where you just can't do that as a wide receiver. You have no chance whatsoever to make a play. Nacho, you know you're tied up. Everybody's going to come in trying to strip that football. You can't make that mistake at that point.
Yeah, that's a situation there where I almost feel like in that situation, if you're going to throw the ball on that type of pass play, you might as well just run the ball up the middle.
Right.
I mean, you don't really have any chance of picking up significant yardage there. But I understand what you're saying. You're trying to maybe get him in some open space, break one tackle, and then who knows. But maybe Fleming's got to see that that play wasn't where it needed to be when he threw it.
There was an element of danger for a split second on
hey,
that
believe
play,
me,
right?
as a Houston Texans fan, I've seen that play before.
Right.
Last year, yeah, that play was going nowhere. And I can tell you, living in Austin, that's the University of Texas used to run that play a lot too, and it was going the wrong way a lot of times as well.
Yes, that coordinator, he's at my school now, though, so.
Greg Davis.
Yes, indeed.
And what school is that?
Iowa.
There you go. That's true. Yeah, a little bit of a down year.
10 seconds remain.
The Big Ten. With 12 teams.
Of course, the Big 12 has 10
teams.
So that makes,
yes, go figure. A little shakeup in the Big 12 this week.
Huge day in the Big 12. Baylor going down. Oklahoma also losing. One final play, maybe. Larry Day will run. SFA does have a timeout, and I think they're going to spend it here, and why not? They're going to force a punt. They'll probably put the punt block on with 5 seconds. Then again, they don't have to because they've had a couple of big returns.
I was just going to say, special teams has been one of their better plays. They've made some huge plays on special teams. Kickoff returns, punt returns. That's where they've gotten a lot of their yardage. But I still feel like you can't take away from the fact that HBU was very competitive here in the first half. I mean, you're a 1-5 team going up against a 4-2 team that has beaten the likes of some quality opponents this year, beating Texas A&M Commerce 38-17, Weber State 35-20. Lost to a really good Central Arkansas team, 49-39. We got to see Central Arkansas up close and personal last week, and it wasn't pretty. That's a good-looking squad over there. But I think when everything shakes out, SFA is going to be in the thick of things here for this Southland Conference title.
If not, maybe a year away.
They are 1-1 in conference right now. Got some games coming up that are going to determine it, including next week against Southeastern Louisiana.
Guzman, another one of those low punts.
That'll take the clock down to 0.
Well, I don't understand that at all either from Aaron Thomas. If
Yeah,
you're going to set things up, you got to make a play.
He returned the last one when he was clocked.
Well, we're at the half. 2-hour light delay, 2 quarters complete. 31-13 SFA at the break. Back at Husky Stadium, it's a 31-13 lead for Stephen F. Austin at the half. It's 24-6 after 1 quarter, a competitive second quarter with each team scoring 1 touchdown. Again, welcome back to our broadcast location. I'm Brett Dola with Jeff Power. And Jeff, it's the running game for both teams that's been impressive, though, tonight.
Yeah, both teams running the football well. Let's begin with Craig Bell with HBU and what he's been able to do. A couple of touchdowns on the ground, had a nice little 34-yard touchdown run early on. In fact, earlier in the season, HBU had only had 1 touchdown that was at least 33 yards, or 1 run from scrimmage that was 33 yards. Tonight they had 2 in 1 drive. 1 from 33 yards out, 1 34. Craig Bell with a couple of touchdowns has 61 yards rushing so far in this game.
Yeah, 142 for the team, and the total yards, we may take a look a little bit later on, not that different despite the score. There you see the second touchdown from Craig Bell, and saw a little more passing in addition to the running for Houston Baptist there in the second quarter. But as far as the Lumberjacks are concerned, we talked a lot about Gus Johnson in the open for good reason. He's lived up to the billing.
Yeah, he is so elusive and so powerful. On the first drive, he just was able to pick up an easy touchdown run, and then on his second drive scored again. Gus Johnson has been sensational. Watch this particular move. He cuts to the outside. There's no hole there whatsoever, but finds a way to break to the outside, and there he is into the end zone for a touchdown. Don't worry about that hold on the corner over there, but a TD run for Gus Johnson. He's got 98 yards rushing so far here in the game.
Let's take a look at the stats here at the half. I talked about the total yards there. You see a 243 to 216. Relatively clean game as far as the penalties, but the rushing yards, of course, in favor of HBU.
Yeah, and even time of possession there, too, with HBU, almost 9 minutes difference, and that's because they've been able to run the football. That 142 looking good up against that 104, and that's the one thing you take from this game for Houston Baptist, the positive about running the football. But Stephen F. Austin is loaded offensively. They've got a great team. They've been tough to stop all night long. You see the balance there with the 139 passing, 104 rushing. And now if you want to look at statistics, this is a team coming in averaging almost 300 yards on the ground and 300 yards through the air. Tonight they're being held somewhat in check, even though the scoreboard doesn't really indicate that at 31-13.
Couple of series, Minden, the backup quarterback, played for Conk, and I'm sure we'll see a lot of players for both teams here in the second half. The uniqueness, of course, of this game is the fact that we played about 30 seconds before a 2-hour power delay, so the teams went to their locker rooms. They had to come back out, warm up again. So now, Jeff, this is the third time coming out of the intermission, the halftime, where they've tried to gear it up again. So this is a slightly unusual game compared to your normal Saturday routine.
And I think both coaches talked about that here at halftime. Try to find a way to keep yourself hydrated. There's no question about it. As this game prolongs into the third and fourth quarter, we're going to be banging on almost midnight by the time this game's over. So bottom line is you're going to have some rotation of depth, a lot of players coming in on the field. Maybe depth will win out on this particular night for Stephen F. Austin, but if you're HBU, try to stay as fresh as you possibly can and keep this game competitive.
The Huskies, after that strong second quarter, will get the football to begin our third. It'll be the Thompson duo back, and you know, it's late, but these kind of kids, they still don't mind getting their dance on. Christopher Anthony there on the sideline for HBU. It's Taylor Thompson, though, and Stephen Thompson set to return the kickoff from Mason Jewell of SFA.
Well, this game can go from being close and manageable to being right back in it if the Huskies can find a way to score on this particular drive.
Taylor Thompson from about the 5. Unable to get back to the 25 at HBU. We'll see if they can sustain that momentum from the second quarter here in the third.
SFA started putting 8 defenders in the box against HBU towards the end of the second quarter and had a little bit more success in stopping HBU's running game. But the Huskies, as mentioned before, had picked up a couple of big plays, 33 yards, 34 yards on one drive, and that kind of set the tone and has kept the Huskies in this game.
Fleming, 8 of 14 through the air, 74 yards in the first half. B.J. Kelly with the first carry here in our third quarter. A lot of white and purple surrounding Kelly. And he was dropped after basically no gain.
B.J. Kelly, he's been a running back who's run with purpose tonight, no question about it, as has Craig Bell. Bell has the 2 touchdowns, but Kelly had some really nice runs in the first half and always shows you that heart and desire to pick up the extra yard. HBU did have the 1 interception earlier in the game, but really, for the most part, turnovers have not been too significant in this game.
The penalties haven't been either, and that was the one concern after that lengthy delay. Maybe things might get a little bit sloppy like that. That pass was out there in space and kind of a dangerous one. Closest individual nearby was Nick Bryant, the linebacker.
Yeah, there was just the 1 interception in the first half. That was it, no fumbles, but even though the ball was put on the carpet, it wasn't a turnover. In fact, right there before halftime, HBU missed a golden opportunity to get a fumble. but couldn't come up with it, or we'd be already talking about a 2-score game.
Third and 9, though, in this opening drive. So to stay in the field, Fleming may have to make a play. Man who's been effective tonight, Ethan Fry, lined up to the left. Fleming going up top. Finding his tight end. That's Maxwell Brown. Dropped that one in the bucket right at midfield. 5th catch of the year for Brown, and a big one.
Maxwell Brown out of Pearland, Texas, just finding a way to make a play. Made a good catch. Fleming put that ball right on the number. I don't think you could have had better defensive coverage. 2 men right there. But you got to turn around and look for the ball if you're SFA. And as for Maxwell Brown, great job making the catch.
Well, good concentration just with the pressure nearby to be able to make that catch, backpedaling near midfield. There goes B.J. Kelly. B.J. Kelly angling to the right side. He'll finally be tackled out of bounds inside the 10.
I tell you, B.J. Kelly is an exciting player. As we mentioned, I know Bell has the 2 touchdowns, but Kelly has run great in between the 20s. Check out this play. To the outside, using that speed all the way inside the 10-yard line.
43-yard pickup, so there's your biggest run from scrimmage this season for HBU. Larry Day checks in, and his forward progress stopped after maybe a pickup of a yard.
Good for a yard and a half. It's 2nd down and goal.
Safe to say the 3 biggest plays from scrimmage have happened tonight. As far as rushing the football, B.J. Kelly 33, Craig Bell 34, and now Kelly adding to it here, over 40 yards on that last one.
HBU had that long drive. They scored a touchdown. They got the football back with about 50 seconds to go, deep in their own territory. Just ran a couple of plays, got off the field. But a chance for another drive, resulting in points. The fade for Iannacho. Well defended in the corner, and that pass incomplete. Kevon Madison there on coverage. He's a Houston native.
Yeah, and Kevon Madison in the right place, the right time. He really can't cover it any better than that. Look at the pass by Fleming. Nicely thrown.
Maybe a little reach there from Madison.
Held that wrist down a little bit,
yeah.
Looked like.
Hard to catch with one arm.
Hey, if you can get away with it, it's a great play.
Third down and goal. Brian Wallace stacked to the left. There's a pass towards Wallace for the pylon. Touchdown! 2nd score of the year for the Cibolo product. And impressive drives for HBU to end the 2nd quarter to begin the 3rd.
Yeah, how about the celebration there too? Fleming with the high five up high in the air too, and that's important. Not only moving the ball well on the ground, but give SFA a thought that you can pass the ball, and what do you know? They score a touchdown via the air.
Travis Shin missed an extra point earlier. Try and knock this one through, trying to send it to the street like a home ball into the net. It's good. We got a ball game. Leads 11 for SFA, 31-20 here at Husky Stadium.
Yeah, great looking pass play here. Good job by the line. Not only blocking, but receiver open here and really able to just make that last ditch effort to get into the end zone. Really nicely done. You like to see that that kind of performance there from your receivers. Just finding a way to make a play, and that's exactly what D'Angelo Wallace was able to do.
Good play, good call. As you see Wallace extending for that pylon. Put the football in the end zone 3rd time tonight.
You know, Wallace is 5'9". He needed every inch of that 5'9" frame to put that ball over the goal line. Nicely done.
And Jeff, with the exception of that win at Texas College where the Huskies put up 72 points, the 21 or the 20 they have on the board tonight equals what they did at Northern Colorado in that 28-20 loss. So they have a chance with another score of some sort tonight to be only behind that Texas College game as far as points. And it's not easy to score 72 to top that one.
Well, and as I mentioned earlier, I mean, this is a game that, you know, perhaps we're seeing the best performance from HBU as a team tonight. And you don't, you know, I was telling you earlier, you know, you don't really pay much attention to the scoreboard. It's about winning your individual play. But now maybe you do kind of look at it a little bit. It's an 11-point game. I mean, you think about, again, that turnover right there before halftime and how this could be an even tighter ball game.
This HBU defense can get off the field in this next sequence, cause a turnover, force a punt. Then you'll really start to generate some interest. The difficult part is a few of the fans have headed for home just because of the lengthy delay we had at the start.
A lot of them have hung around, no question.
Piper from the goal line. SFA's made some plays. There's a flag that comes flying in and may negate another nice return for Piper as he went up the boundary and finally stepped out at about the 43.
It's such a fine line on special teams, especially the holding call, because a lot of times you're blocking as you're moving down the field, and it looks like holding, but you're actually blocking as you're running down the field.
Holding on the receiving team, number from the spot of the foul, first down.
Conveniently, the mic cut out for our referee Kevin Hassel before he could identify the guilty party. Husky having a good time here on campus at HBU, making friends with the young fans.
Look at the block right there, first of all. Wow. But there's where the hold, well, the holding actually came before
right
this,
there.
but I thought we could have had holding there, but the flag was already on the field at that
That's
point.
a good point. Maybe it was a lengthy hold.
It'll be 1st and 10 for Stephen F. Austin at that point.
So Zach Conk needs one of these scoring drives of his own. And why not? He gives it to Johnson, but he was tripped up immediately.
Carry by Johnson, loss of a yard.
We even lost a yard on the play.
For HBU.
It's Chris Anthony
Down and 11.
there on the tackle.
This is kind of a pivotal part of the game. It's early in the third quarter. It's 31-20. If you're HBU, you've had moments on defense, especially late in the second quarter, where they forced a couple of 3-and-outs. That's what you're looking for right now. If you're SFA, you need to put together a drive. You've got HBU thinking they can win this game right now.
Conk with that pocket beginning to collapse. Lobs one up for grabs. Outstanding defensive play was made by Barnett to swat that one away. It was intended for Aaron Thomas. It looked like Thomas had position. Barnett came around him.
A lot of emotion on the HBU defensive side of the ball, too. This ball looked like it was kind of thrown up for grabs, and nicely done knocking that one away at the last minute. No question about it.
This may be one of the bigger plays defensively of the Southland Conference season right now for HBU. All the momentum will be in their favor if they can get off the field here on 3rd down and 11 to go. Tyler Boyd lined up to the left. He was open coming underneath. That pass was, I believe, caught, but well short of the marker. Liggins caught it. But he's going to be about 4 yards short. So the defense holds.
There you go. There's your 3-and-out. And a really fired up HBU defense. I mean, that's the thing. You know, if you're SFA and you're on the coaching staff right now, the thing you're worried about is you're letting a team that you feel you are definitely superior to hang around. And, you know, with everything we've had with a power outage and, you know, as we get later and later into the night, who knows? Crazy things happen.
Gremlins come out late at night. Nick Bruno's punt. Boy, this is a boom. Tremendous kick all the way back to the 30-yard line. That is a 60-yard punt.
In that case, the fair catch is your friend. There was some SFA traffic coming down the middle of the field.
All right, Jeff, what do you expect from this offense? They've had 2 nice drives for scores. If you take away that one where basically they were running up the clock in the last couple of seconds of the second quarter, you know, back-to-back drives where they scored. So now they really have things clicking.
Well, and they scored on a pass play, which you like to see. You're trying to show some balance here, show SFA that you're not just running the football well, that you're able to pass it. Just keep mixing up the balance.
Fleming looking to the sideline with Larry Day lined up to his left. Day will carry for a couple of yards. running into that line.
You know, I always like to kind of go back to some of the keys in the game and what they were talking about beforehand. And, you know, HBU said take care of the football, which they've done. They've been balanced on offense. They've had some positive plays. I mean, if you're HBU, you're hitting your keys. SFA was, you know, turned Gus Johnson loose. They did early, but he hasn't been as loose lately. They have exploited that HBU secondary, but they haven't quite had the strong defensive pass rush that they've wanted to have.
It's been a big part of what they've done this season.
It's because HBU can run it.
Fleming stands in the pocket, intending a pass for Fry. He tried to make that catch with his left hand. I thought he had an opportunity to lay out for it, but he had that step briefly.
Beautifully thrown ball here by Fleming. Nice spiral, nice good rotation, perfectly thrown. There's Fry trying to find a way to come underneath it. You're right, it almost looked like he kind of slowed down there at the last second. Maybe not sure if he wanted to dive for it or just continue to run the play out.
Boy, Fleming hits him in stride. It's 6.
But just the mere fact that you throw a play like that, you keep that doubt as to whether or not they're going to run it or throw it.
3rd down, 8 to go. Fleming's pass is caught. Zion Nacho at about the 41.
It's going to be close.
I think they got it. They did.
Tell you, if HBU can continue to throw the ball, it's really going to shake things up. SFA is definitely loading the box. They're coming strong with a tough pass rush, and HBU getting a good 1st down completion right there. Nicely done. Stretching the ball out there might have been the difference.
Larry Day kind of flying into the line of scrimmage. Keep an eye on Fleming. Jeff, I mentioned earlier, to me it looks like he perspires more in his arms than about anybody I've seen. Now he's got that towel almost before every snap. He's wiping his sweaty hands off on that towel. That previous pass to Iannaccio came out, fluttered just a bit. Watch him again once he gets set back up. If he doesn't wipe his hands on that towel, he's got all the wristbands. Got that sweat coming down his arms. He wants to keep those hands dry on a dry night so he doesn't have a ball slip out and make a mistake.
I think he's going to have to call a timeout here. The clock's starting to wind down. He doesn't have the play in yet. We're down to 6 seconds.
Yeah, right now he just wants the ball to be snapped. 2 seconds. They just do get it off. And Larry Day can't quite reach the 44.
With that confusion there, you'll take that 3 or 4 yard gain, because that had disaster written all over it. And Fleming kind of motioning that he wants to get the play in a little bit sooner. But that's a good observation. I mean, it is fairly humid out there. We did talk about how before this game, it's definitely the warmest day we've had in the last 4 or 5 days here in the Houston area.
But that band that he wears on that right arm, that sleeve, if you will, that's a different color of blue than his jersey. I mean, that's filled with sweat. He's got a lot of accoutrements on that arm with the sleeve and bracelets. There's Bibbins. Kenneth Bibbins targeted, makes the catch. He wants a 1st down, but he's about a yard shy. He's just right at midfield.
Bibbins is a playmaker. That's a good call right there. I like going for the tight end in this situation.
How would you like to try and tackle this guy?
Kellen Winslow out there, huh?
HBU is not going to punt. They're going to go for it. Day fighting in the second effort. Did he get there? Well, that football shot forward on the carpet.
I don't think he got it from the mark, the initial mark we're seeing. It's going to be about half a yard short. But I like the effort. I like going for it there. But SFA standing tall on defense, making a play when they have to.
Turnover on down.
Let's see what happens here. Yeah, just nothing doing. There wasn't a hole there to run through. Day with a nice second effort, almost got in, but he knew when he first hit the ground that he was just shy of a 1st down.
Had to get to the 49. He was about at the 49.5. So football actually is marked at the 50. That was shy by a yard, so that was an important stop for the SFA defense.
And if you're the Lumberjack offense, it's time for a drive. We've bragged about your offense a lot here in this game, and they look good in the 1st quarter, but not as much since then.
Gus Johnson trying to pick a hole. Here's a guy who averages nearly 9 yards a carry. Jonathan Buffett, the safety, drops it.
I mean, think about, you know, SFA scores 24 points in the 1st quarter. You're thinking they get one more touchdown, this game, I mean, it'll get into the heads of HBO. Here we go again. You know, that's going to be the mindset. Instead, SFA allows a touchdown, another touchdown, and then it becomes a game where it's now 31-20. You got HBU thinking you can get back in it. You know, if you're Stephen F. Austin, you gotta find a way to put together a nice drive here, eat up some clock, put that seed of doubt back in HBU.
And you know where that starts and finishes. That man, Gus Johnson, Garrett Dolan wraps him up and throws him down. The leading tackler on this team came in with 53 on the season, but it's right at the boundary, right at the 40. I guess he'll be short barely, maybe by about a half a yard for another first down.
Matt Kubik, the offensive coordinator here for Stephen F. Austin. He's got a lot of weapons to use. Also coaches quarterbacks as well. See what he dials up here on 3rd and short.
Conk under center, tremendous push by the line of scrimmage. He was bumped and tackled from behind, was caught by Kamoako, but he just followed his big uglies on the left side of the line and easily picked up that first down.
And a nice second effort there too, as far as seeing that there was some more running room on the right side of the field to pick up the first down. I thought there was a chance that that ball was going to be stripped free, but nice job holding on to it. And you know, SFA does a pretty nice job with rotating their quarterbacks in and kind of giving you some different looks.
Now Conk with the rollout. Not a good pass over Tyler Boyd's outstretched hand.
You know, we talked about Zach Conk and his size and all. 6'5", 230 pounds, sophomore out of Little Rock, Arkansas. I mean, think about that. 6'5", 230 quarterback. I mean, NFL scouts love those kind of,
no doubt,
you know, height and weight. He can run the ball well. Coach's son, you know, he's got that kind of savvy that coach's sons always seem to have.
And he started at UTSA before he transferred to play for Dad. And there's another run by Johnson forward. You know, when Coach Conk saw his son go to UTSA, you know, sometimes you have to answer as a coach for losing out on the hometown products. When it's your own son, he lives in your house, and you have to answer for him going someplace else. That's tough.
Point. But he came back home. And now home is in Nacogdoches, which we'll tell you about a high school football game involving Nacogdoches here in just a bit. That was absolutely wild.
3rd and call it 7. Conk goes up top. Outstanding catch in traffic at the 25-yard line made by Tyler Boyd. You know, drops have plagued this receiving corps in recent weeks, but tonight they made some of the catches in traffic, including this one.
Yeah, watch Taylor Thompson on the end of this play. He kind of goes for the place, trying to make the interception there, and really that allows SFA to pick up not only the extra yard or 2 there, but that could be critical, you know, moving those chains.
Barnett finally made the tackle. Now Johnson, boy, he's going to give up some yards to try and gain some yards. Boy, how about that run from Gus Johnson? You got to be kidding me. Coach Conk said earlier this week he's had some phenomenal 4 or 5 yard runs. Phenomenal and 4-yard runs don't often go in the same sentence. This was a phenomenal 5-yard run.
Look at this, skips out, doesn't see a hole there. An HBU defender sitting there on a knee can't make the play, and then breaking to the outside and somehow picking up about 8 yards there.
My friends, that's how you average nearly 9 yards a run. You turn a negative play into a positive play. This time, though, the HBU defense says, not this time.
Well, he knows he's so close to the first down. Gus deciding, hey, you know what, let me see if I can just get the first down here right up the middle. There's a time to break to the outside. There's a time to pick up the first down.
He's a bit gassed, so West will check in, replacing Gus Johnson.
He's got a good sports name. We know the broadcaster, Gus Johnson. Gus has been down to Austin a few times.
Conk tries to get the first down on his own. He was planted pretty good by Josh Jones forward. He's going to get a yard, but I think he's still going to be shy by about 1.5 yards on 4th down.
Yeah, Zach Conk, looks like it's a run design play right from the beginning, but a couple of HBU players right there making a play. That was also, looks like Garrett making a play there as well, or Colin Garrett. Check that. Garrett Dolan, I meant to say.
A Garrett Dolan and a Colin Garrett.
Same number.
Both big-time players. Big play here. 4th and call it. A long one, a short 2. Gus Johnson racing to the end zone. He's got 3 tonight, 16 on the season.
Man, what a great play for Stephen F. Austin. And a killer if you're HBU. You got a chance to get him off the field. But Gus has been, this is the first quarter Gus Johnson that we saw. You know, maybe he needed that little halftime to kind of get his win back, but you see the carries, 133 yards on 17 carries, 3 touchdowns. He's as good as advertised. I got a feeling he's going to be playing on Sundays.
You might be right. Running with a purpose tonight. Extra point is good. So the HBU Huskies had a chance to get off the field. The Lumberjacks, well, they followed that man all the way down the field into the end zone. 18-point lead for SFA. Hey, the crowd, they stuck around tonight. 2-hour light delay, but it's been some power football here in this third quarter.
Well, we were just noticing there in the break how big Gus Johnson is. As you get these are some future Gus Johnsons out here playing on the soccer field right next to us. But Vic Shealy's got to be thinking, you know, we had everybody in the right position right there, but Gus Johnson just made a football play. I mean, he's got big thighs, he's got speed, power. I mean, you're seeing why he's the leading rusher right now in the Southland Conference. If the hole's not there, he'll bounce off and go to the outside. If it is there, he's going to burst right up the middle and pick up some big yardage.
You know, I was a college coach once upon a time who had a simple phrase, and I think it's one I've applied throughout the last 20 years. Some people make plays, some people don't. We know Gus Johnson is one of those who makes plays.
Yeah, he really does. He's an all-around, just good back. I mean, his size, but he lacks in height. He makes up for it with that leg drive and that power. He's got a lot of speed, too.
Returnable kick for Wallace. Scored a touchdown earlier. Receiving, he'll take it out to about the 25.
And last I checked, it didn't matter how tall you were to run the football anyway, so. Look at Darren Sproles in the NFL, right?
You think about Barry Sanders. Some of those, the good ones have been the ones that are sometimes tough to locate.
Walter Payton, even Emmitt Smith wasn't that tall.
That's right.
Yeah, you know, the thing I've always found about, you know, in all the years of watching football, well, my whole life really, you never know when you're going to have that special kind of back. I mean, it's kind of hard to determine when you just look at a player as to whether or not he's elusive or he can make that cut at the last minute to find a way to break free. I mean, Arian Foster comes to mind with the Texans, the way he breaks free.
Start talking about a once-in-a-generation type running back for a program or a conference. It's pretty hitty praise. Isaiah Hall, by the way, is now in as quarterback. More of a runner. Jet sweep for D'Angelo Wallace. Trying to get to that corner, turn it up for a couple of yards.
Another one comes to mind, DeMarco Murray. All of a sudden this year, he's like leading the NFL. And, you know, where was that last year? I mean, you never know when all of a sudden these backs are going to find that extra burst of energy or speed. And a lot of times it is your offensive line. But, you know, HBU's running backs will prove to you time and time again that, you know, if you can find a way to get through the hole, bounce off a tackle here or there, you can pick up some good yardage.
Greg Bell, couple of scores tonight. Competing forward, Trey Valier, back-to-back plays, he's made the stop. Does this surprise you at all? Isaiah Hall is into the game, or is this a case where they want to get him some playing time as well, even though the Fleming had started to move the team?
Yeah, you know, he brings you that element of being able to run the football a little bit more than Fleming. And the way that HBU has run the football, he's just that extra back there to give you another option. You know, what we've seen so far from the Huskies this year is when Isaiah gets into the game, he's usually in for a series. You know, they want to just see if shaking things up, how it changes things. And I see Fleming looks like he's going to come right back in the game anyway right now. Kind of dialing up a play here. I think that was just to give the defense a different look. But we do have an injured player on the field.
The Lumberjacks being attended to by the training staff.
Hard to tell the number.
We'll step aside during this injury timeout. 2:32 left to play in our third quarter. Big Lance Schuyler. Good news is he's up under his own power, and that's a good thing. That would take a couple of men to move that guy to the sideline. 6'2", 282 pounds.
And a Lancaster. Can't say Lancaster, have to say Lancaster. Learned that from Jim Holler. Doing one of their basketball games a while back.
Jim's been known to have his own dialect.
Gotta love him though. He is basketball in this state.
Yes, he is, no doubt. 3rd and 3 for HBU.
Fleming back on the field now. He loves those hard counts.
Tough for those linemen to stay in their spot. Ethan Fry's been making some plays tonight. That time, Pollard, the corner, jumped up, kind of knocked that ball away, and it's 4th down.
That ball was thrown pretty well. Just really good defensive coverage right there. That's how you do it. That's textbook right there. When you know you can't touch the man, but Maurice Pollard just gets that hand in right at the opportune moment. It's a fine line. Pass interference and making a great play, isn't it?
Well, sure is. Good play
Get that
there.
Hand on him sometimes.
Guzman with this running punt, kicking it towards Thomas. If he can get through this first wave, he'll get some yards. He cannot. He was planted. I think that's Cody Montier came racing in for a special teams play. An outstanding effort because there were a lot of running room ahead of Thomas, and he's even able to get through that first wave.
Cody Montier from Fort Bend, Travis. 6'2", 185. I've always kind of thought of him as one of the originals. You know, he was a big part of their success in going 3-4 last year. Look at that's a play right there. Talking about making plays. I mean, HBU's needed that all night on special teams, a play like that. You know, speaking of plays, we talked about some points. Jacksonville beat Nacogdoches last night, 85-79 in 5 overtimes. Yeah, they played 12 overtimes back in 2010.
Same school, right?
Same 2 schools.
They need to figure that out. There's a pass for Tyler Boyd, floated a bit, but Boyd was able to run underneath it, jumped out of bounds after a pickup of 5.
Jacksonville won that game 84-81 back in 2010. But, you know, I bring this up because I kind of wonder, you know, the difference between the way high school and college football deals with overtime and the way they deal with it in the NFL. I mean, what do you think? I mean, at what point? I mean, I talked to Coach Ray's over at Nacogdoches. He said his team was just tired. They were dead tired.
Gassed. Hard to compete. Then you worry about injuries. Dolan at the bottom of that pile for HBU. He had some help from Kafatua. 3rd and short again.
I know they have rules in place, you know, where, you know, at the collegiate level in high school where they'll make you go for 2 and things like that, so it doesn't go 12 overtimes. Yes. And I remember, now to be fair, the year they went to 12 overtimes partly was because Nacogdoches and Jacksonville were involved with some tiebreakers where it had to end in a certain amount of points too. So yeah, just to get the playoffs, you know.
Marquise Mosley had the first down, and then he was just being held up by Dolan as he took a couple of shots. One of those was from Taylor Thompson, the safety, but the sticks moved.
You know, if you're the Huskies right now, you know your backs are against the wall. You're down 38-20. If you're SFA, put the hammer down. I mean, this is it. This is your chance to put the game away. You know, at some point, you got to be saying, we're superior. Let's demonstrate that on the field now.
New ball carrier, it's Fred Ford in the game from Kirbyville. Pick up a couple of yards. In fact, to that point, SFA, I think, traveled in excess of 70 players, more so than they have in any game this year. You go back to that Abilene game here. Abilene was able to play a lot of kids, third-string kids who had not received playing time. You want to be ready for that, but Stephen F. Austin said to keep these regulars in because they've been in a dogfight here in this third quarter.
5 words come to mind. Coach, I'm from Houston.
Fred Ford. A little acceleration. Fred Ford being chased from behind. Dropped at about the 10. 40-plus yard pickup. There's some exhaustion at the bottom of that pile. Tackle finally made by Amawako for HBU.
Fred Ford said, hey, I'm from Kirbyville. Don't forget about me. Nice move right there. Just anytime you can put a defensive back on his back right there where he's unable to make a play. I mean, he just kind of faked him right out of his shoes.
That brings us to the end of our third quarter. Lumberjacks knocking on their door again, trying to add to their 18-point lead when you come back. Here's your Southland Conference standings before action tonight. Some familiar names up on top.
Yeah, hey, Sam Houston State's win last week over McNeese was just a huge win for the Bearcats. I mean, McNeese State, if you haven't seen them yet this year, they have got a huge line. Remember, they almost beat Nebraska in Lincoln earlier this year. And then there's Southeastern on top. Southeastern Louisiana is the defending champs, and Central Arkansas right there with them at 3-0. I don't think there's any question that, you see these three teams, and these standings are exactly the way they should be. I mean, Abilene Christian's probably the best of some of these newer teams that are in the Southland Conference, and fittingly, they're 2-1.
SFA, if they can win tonight, if they can improve to 2-1 in conference play, they will have a date at home next week with Southeastern Louisiana, and there will be a huge crowd on hand at NAC to see that game.
Well, that likely could be for first place in the conference right there. You hand a loss to Southeastern, they would make both teams 3-1. But right now, if you're SFA, you got to think about putting HBU away. I wouldn't be surprised if when they got up early 24-6, they weren't already thinking about next week.
Might be right. Fred Fort's had a couple of big carries on this drive. He'll get the ball again with a head of steam, flying inside the 5-yard line, chopped down by the safety Buffin to keep that one from being another score. There's a marker down, is there? Looks like it may have been picked up. So the clock continuing to roll. Ford hit and dropped. Who else? The man averaging about 10 tackles a game, number 40, Garrett Dolan, comes flying in. Total yards after 3 quarters tonight. Stephen F. Austin only about 22 yards more than HBU, even though they lead on the scoreboard by 18 points, but they're trying to add to it here.
That's a great tackle right there by Dolan. That's a form tackle, just textbook,
Some players.
He was a steer roper.
Oh boy, Baytown tough right there. How about that catch in the back of the end zone for the score from Justice Liggins?
Yeah, Liggins just stretched out right there and made a play. 6'1", 210 out of John Tyler High School up in Tyler. Again, not too far from Nacogdoches. And if you think about it, SFA, I remember Bill Yeoman, former University of Houston coach, once saying that he could win a national championship with East Texas high school football players alone, meaning recruit that area well. There's so much talent there in East Texas, and I think that's kind of the goal for SFA. Let's recruit our backyard, and then we'll work our way out from there, down into Houston, Dallas-Fort Worth area, Louisiana.
Jordan Wiggs hits the extra point. All-time leading scorer in the school's history, over 300 points. He's tacked on several PATs tonight, and the lead has been ballooned to 25. A lot of players involved tonight, including Justice Liggins. How about this catch?
Yeah, that's a good-looking catch right there, just stretched out, making some plays. And the thing about Stephen F. Austin, there's a little pressure on the football team because the basketball team had so much success last year, going a couple of rounds deep in the NCAA tournament. We caught up with some of the players from SFA earlier at the Lake Charles Media Day, and this is what they had to say about the pressure of putting a football team out there that they could be proud of.
It seems like everybody at SFA is winning championships, but football. So I need to go out on top. It's only right that we go out on top.
It makes me hungry. Just seeing everybody, all the other sports being so successful, it makes me and our team want to be successful. So we came in this summer, just workouts, just ready to go.
And that's a good point right there. I mean, I think these guys, they feel it on campus. There's been a lot of success there in a lot of different sports at Stephen F. Austin. And, you know, their football team has had success through the years, but they want to get back to where their program was.
Taking a step forward this season, HBU will get the football back. Their last drive stalled at about midfield. There's D'Angelo Wallace. Wallace doesn't find any room. He's dropped at about the 12.
D'Angelo Wallace on the return.
Yeah, not much there. D'Angelo took a shot too, didn't he?
It'll be first down and 10 at that point.
But no question about it. If you're HBU right now, 13:50 to go, fourth quarter. You want to keep that offense feeling good about themselves. You know, they've had some good drives. They've been able to run the football pretty well tonight. I think their defense might be getting to a point where they're maybe pretty tired. But you've got an HBU offense out here who's had some positive drives tonight. Right now, you know, that's what the doctors, that's what you're looking for. The prescription is running the football, and I don't expect them to pass with the idea that they're thinking, you know, down 25 points that they might be able to win, but you never know.
Going up top in the first play, deep in their own territory.
There you go.
That pass was through the hands of Iannacho. He might have had 6. Now there was a hold here on Ethan Fry on the near sideline, about 50 yards from where the pass came down. This should benefit HBU, but boy, Iannacho would like to have it back.
Yeah, that was right in the breadbasket. Look at this pass by Fleming.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 7. 15-yard penalty.
Goodness,
from the
that has
spot.
to be caught.
Automatic first down.
You think all week, all month, all season about getting one of those opportunities. Went through the wickets. You heard our official, our referee Kevin Hassel say there was a personal foul face mask on Ethan Fry. So even on a play that could have been 6 or a huge gain results in a pickup of 15 with the mark off.
Yeah, you make it. I mean, if he makes a catch right there, he's gone.
Yep.
The defender's already off him.
90-yard touchdown pass. I think you see some confidence increasing from Jonathan Fleming though tonight.
He's been through a lot this year. We all know about the off-season incident where he was shot in that shoulder. Now he's had a leg injury this year. He's been through a lot.
Going to try again for Fry. A lot of contact. Another one within the vicinity of Fry. The official furthest away threw the flag. I was waiting for the one nearest to call that penalty. There was just too much contact. You can get away with a push, but you can't continue to push or hold.
And he might have been shielded right there, but a flag does come down. Let's see.
15-yard penalty from the previous
You can't just hold that arm. Yep.
Automatic first down.
And I think he was shielded. He probably just didn't see the arm getting grabbed right there.
Well, good job by the officiating crew to pick themselves up, help out their colleagues.
Quite a few of them out there.
2 big penalties now. Let's move the football out to the 42 of HBU.
You got the 4 officials on the field, and that is their job. I mean, they're all at the points of the play to be able to see everything that's going on. Back judge, you got the line judge on either side.
Big 12 has even gone to 8 in the last couple of years, adding 1 extra. Fleming over the middle. Big Kenneth Bibbins with the stiff arm. Forget it. Touchdown.
Look at Kenneth. He's got some speed that you just wouldn't think a man of his size would have.
57 yards on the score. That's his 4th touchdown of the season. When you hit him in stride, he can use that big stiff arm. He's going to find a way to take it to the house.
You know, last year, HBU ran him as a receiver a time or 2. They'd line him out there in the flat, let him go deep, because he's got that speed.
He's
BJ Kelly.
He's headbutting teammates with his helmet off.
Well, BJ's had trouble keeping his helmet on all night long, so I wouldn't be surprised if he just wears it all night. Maybe even when he goes to sleep tonight.
Travis Shin, BAT. Oh, we've had a good game tonight. It's 24-6. Stephen F. Austin after the first quarter. Bibbins and company keep bringing the Huskies back. 45-27 here in our 4th.
Let's watch this play one more time. how about Fleming here? He's got the offensive line doing a nice job, picking up the blocks, good pass. The stiff arm. You know, Bivens, once he got the stiff arm, he realized, I can outrun this. I can outrun this man right here, no question.
Little flare with the finish at the end for 6.
He didn't go all Deion Sanders on us, but that was a nice little high step all the way in.
We'll step aside, 45-27, Lumberjacks. Kenneth Bibbins running into your living room. Take that, Muhammad. There's a little shove to your face mask. Try and catch the big man. He could have run halfway to Austin with that head of steam from the 6'5", 242-pound senior.
I love it. What a run right there. High stepping all the way into the end zone. Yeah.
Jeff, there is a level of confidence being gained tonight in victory or defeat for the Huskies.
I tell you what, they may not come out on top tonight, but Nichols better be ready next week because HBU is going to be fired up and ready on that game. That game's being played right here at Dunham Field, here at Husky Stadium. And Nichols this is not one of their better teams that they've had in the Southland Conference. But right now, I'm thinking HBU still thinks they can win this game. I mean, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. But
they've been able to get some stops tonight. Now, this is an explosive Lumberjack offense. They scored in that previous drive. Defense hoping to make a play, a little pooch kick. Be taken and covered well right at the 35. No running room whatsoever, and maybe even an injured Lumberjack down to the play. That was pooched in the direction of Joshua West, the backup running back.
Ever since HBU's gone to this pooch-style kick, their special teams have improved. They've done a much better job of covering the pooch, which, I mean, understandably, but you still got to make the plays. And they're making the tackles. They've been tackling better here in the second half.
I've seen that progress. Again, you talked about the good week of practice. That's one thing. Now you want to see it translate on the field. It's a marker.
Usually procedure in these situations. The ball's not snapped.
Offense, number 60. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Shane Robertson, redshirt freshman,
Takes the ball
guard.
back to the 30-yard line where it'll be first down and 15 for the Lumberjacks.
So would false start be the synonym of a legal procedure?
It's the new terminology, yes. Right? Oh boy, that one was up for grabs. There's a marker. The pass was complete by Tyler Boyd. He tipped that ball to himself. One of the Huskies was chipped pretty good when he was going for the pick.
This might even be offensive pass interference, but it came from the back judge. It's about as far away from the play as he could have been, so we'll have to kind of wait and see. But it sure looked like perhaps some offensive pass interference.
Holding. Offense, number 9. 10-yard penalty.
DJ Ward, I'm not sure holding is the right application, but there was an infraction. You'll see it again here in the bottom portion of your screen. Right there. It was kind of, well, it was a hold, I guess, almost kind of a push in the backer.
Yeah, I guess you really can't call it pass interference when it's on the defender, but in this case, the offensive player causing the hold there, so that makes sense. But
yeah, a lot of times
Bivens on the sideline.
He's anxious to get another shot. Sometimes kind of that rub or that pick considered more of a offensive pass interference. Zach Conk has nowhere to go, and there's the enthusiasm of that defense. You see some of the big guys coming up off the bottom of the pile, including Tua.
Brings up second down and 26.
Well, you got second and 26 now. I mean, you can drop back in coverage, play more of a prevent defense, if you will. Things change. Pin your ears back maybe with the front four. See if you can't get the good pass rush with your front four.
Second and 26. Conk dialing one up to the sideline.
Just throwing that one to Vic Sheelan.
Is incomplete.
You know, Uncle Mo is on the HBU sideline right now. They can somehow get a stop right here, and let's, 26 yards, a long way to go for Stephen F. Austin. I mean, there is still plenty of time on the clock at 45-27. 12:29 to play here in the fourth quarter.
Feels like you should be tucked away in bed tonight, but the 2-hour delay has pushed things back. 3rd and long, to say the least. Conk able to step up into the throw. Complete to Tyler Boyd. Boyd will get back to the original line of scrimmage at the 35, and he's still about 10+ yards short of a first down.
Nice defensive effort right there by HBU. 4 players right there to make the tackle. You're okay with letting them get to the original line of scrimmage as long as they don't pick up the first down. Pivotal part of the game right here.
Nick Bruno, a pretty good punter. He's had one for 60 yards tonight. He's going to try and pin the Huskies deep with Lazarine standing at his 20. He'll take it at the 26. He might want to stick up that right hand from time to time.
How do you not fair catch that?
He almost caught the defender before he caught the football.
First down and 10 for the Huskies at the
This is my
25-yard
helmet.
line.
I will be here before the football. Put your arm up in the air. There's actually a flag down on the play.
Penalty on the play.
Might be a little personal foul actually after the play. See some some talking going on.
As soon as I said this was a relatively clean game of the penalties, it has changed.
And we've seen the penalties in the past have been on special teams plays. That's where you've got to be a little more level-headed.
Yep.
I know you're fired up and you make a big hit or you're a good block and got to control your.
There are fouls by both teams during the kick. Holding on the return team. Personal foul, number 23 of the kicking team. Those fouls will offset. We'll replay 4th down.
Yes, we will. We'll redo.
Well, if you're HBU, you probably want to redo here. I'll tell you what, kids at home, if you're going to return kicks, put that right arm up in the air. If you return punts, I mean, put that right arm up in the air.
Wave it frantically.
Wave it frantically when someone's closing in on you. Either that or you're going to get hurt.
I mean, it's the only time in football when you could say, "Don't touch me."
It's a rule that's there for a reason, to protect you. And some would say that quarterbacks practically have fair catches the way the rules are starting to bend in their favor. Can't hit them, can't touch them, can't go up high with your helmet. Looks like they actually marked off a few. No, back to the original line of scrimmage. There we go. They had it in the wrong spot there.
We still have 12 minutes basically to play in this game. All kinds of time. Huskies to get the ball back. A shorter kick. This time, there's the fair catch, and well-deserved and called by Lazarine.
That's what you call living and learning.
Yes. I mean, Coach Shealy wants to see these guys benefit from their experience, and Lazarine did so in about 2 seconds, went off the clock.
It's like, Lazarine, I want to see you here at practice next week. Go ahead and put that right arm up. It's okay.
The Huskies back on the field, and Jeff, we talked about what this team has done this year. In every game, with the exception of that 72-point outburst at Texas College, they had not scored more than 20 points. Well, that has changed tonight. By far, I would say their best conference offensive output, bar none.
It's been a good effort all the way around. I think the Huskies can definitely feel pretty proud about their performance, but still 11:33 to play. Another helmet comes off.
Tell you what, we need better chin straps as Craig Bell was dropped.
This is a plea for all businesses thinking about getting into the chin strap business.
I think there's great potential for earnings growth.
Extra snap on the helmet, maybe throw a little Velcro in there somewhere, some glue. It just might be the fact that, you know, the way helmets are designed now to release all that pressure with the extra holes, that somehow it's just putting a lot of pressure on those chin straps.
If it benefits and limits concussions, I'm all for it. But you would seem to think a guy playing without his helmet, once it pops off, would be below average for your health. In fact, there's a rule now in college football: if you lose your hat and that pass incomplete, and you continue to play, you will be flagged for a penalty. You are a dead player once your helmet comes off. Oftentimes it happens at the end of a play, but if you continue to try and make a block or a tackle, you'll get flagged.
Yeah, if you do the math, there's 22 players on the field running around with a helmet, and if you're one of them that's not a good situation. Bad things happen to you.
There's your play being signaled in. 3rd and 10. Huskies hoping to stay on the field.
I can almost visualize why that rule was put into effect. I remember seeing a player one time trying to make a tackle downfield without his helmet and seeing blood go everywhere. Not in this game, but in years past.
Fleming, that one deflected and nearly picked. It dropped in front of the feet of Patrick Martin, the safety. Playing a deep coverage. Nick Bryant, the linebacker, back in coverage, number 43, may have gotten a hand on it, and did. Boy, he had a chance to pick.
Yeah, that was a dangerous pass right there. And Ethan Fry on the near side was a little bit, at least more open, but that's one of those plays. You're trying to pick up a first down, and it looks good when you release it, but by the time the defense closes in on it, look out.
Guzman better get this one off. I've been waiting for a block all year, the way he goes after those low kicks. He's going to be down inside the 5. And, you know, Jeff, he takes a lot of time, and he kicks the ball low, and that's a bad combination. And that time it got swatted right back from where it came.
Yeah, that extra step, and there's no question about it. We'll look at it here again on replay. SFA had 3 players closing in fast.
Just too long. And the block was made by Justin Owens.
He did do a nice job of picking up the ball, though, because that would have been a touchdown. Could have picked that one up. SFA had scored, but let's look at this one more time. He takes that extra step. There's no question about it.
Too long.
And that's something that he's got a great leg. He really boots the ball well when he kicks it. But that's something that can be fixed. You can work with that.
If you're going to take that much time, you better get one high off. Conk, the fate of the end zone. How is that one caught?
Oh, my goodness.
Into the hands of Aaron Thomas. Talk about 2 guys grabbing for the football at the same time. Thomas looks like he was taking a couple of bumps from the defender out there in coverage for HBU.
There was no doubting Thomas on that play. Aaron just going up, and that's what you do. You know, 9 times out of 10, the official is going to award that towards the receiver. They're going to give them kind of the benefit of the doubt. When it's sort of that, you know, in between, who's got it. They're both fighting over it, and he just took it away.
Thomas didn't have a touchdown this season. It's his 2nd tonight. Haven't even put the points up on the scoreboard yet here at HBU. Maybe hoping they don't count.
Review it. Let's not review it, please. That's what we had the power outage.
52-27. SFA with the lead. They cash in that block punt for an immediate score.
Well, and you know, we talked about this in the first half. SFA was kind of winning the special teams battle, and they take advantage here with the short field. And look at Thomas. I mean, he just takes that ball away. That is questionable. I mean, it's like Ty goes to the runner almost. Ty goes to the receiver in this situation.
I thought it was Buffin, but it's obviously Tyler Stevenson, the Baylor transfer. And you could see where it looked like Thomas had it, and then Stevenson ripped that ball into his possession, and then they kind of battled for it.
Kind of after the fact, maybe, but yeah. I mean, the idea is to get it, to knock it completely out of the way, but in that situation, I mean, I'm sure Stevenson's thinking, well, man, if I make an interception here, I mean, they're already on the 2-yard line, you know.
Save a score, turn the tie, get the football back in the hands of your offense at the 20.
You know, and really, defensive backs, for the most part, I mean, a lot of them played receiver when they were in high school. They want to make a play. They want to make a catch. But maybe they don't. Either they don't have the speed or they don't have maybe the catching skills that the 3 or 4 receivers have that are on the other side of the field. So they go shift it over to defensive back. But I don't think there's any question right there. Stevenson, he's going for the ball. He's trying to make a play, but that's just one of those where Ty goes to the receiver, if you will.
We almost had that Green Bay-Seattle
yeah,
play.
Exactly.
Earlier tonight we had the Super Bowl with the lights going out of the Superdome. We almost had that disaster where the official is getting ready to call the touchdown. He realizes the defender has the ball.
all kind of references. Of course, the Super Bowl is going to be in Houston here pretty shortly. What, next year, I think?
Couple of years.
Couple years, sure.
Taylor Thompson just had that ball die in front of him, and that's not good field position for HBU.
11-yard line. We're going to be first down.
Yeah, SFA has just done a better job on special teams than HBU has. HBU's with the pooch kicks have been okay, but the one thing they keep losing out on that is field position. And Houston Baptist here in the second half, they've not had good field position. They've had to start inside their own 20 quite a few times already. But the rushing yards, I mean, there you go. HBU still leading in that category, 201 to 193. Almost equal on the attempts, too. 40 for the Huskies, 33 for the Lumberjacks. You know, and SFA will be back down here in the Houston area when they take on Sam Houston State on November 1st. That's the week after next. And that's always a big game, the Piney Woods.
Yep, Battle of Piney Woods at NRG. Good ball. Ethan Fry's made some tremendous catches tonight. Not that time in traffic.
Fleming took a shot. He's up, he's moving, but man, he got leveled.
Jeff, that's at least 3 drops on big plays. Ball has been well thrown by Fleming.
Yeah, and if you're Ethan Fry, I don't know if somehow he got kind of shielded there at the last minute, but that ball hit him right in the breadbasket. You got to make a catch there.
We're 2 defenders, close proximity.
Splitting hairs there. That ball was right in between 2 defenders. Couldn't have thrown it any better.
I mean, your takeaway has to be that there have been some big plays made and some potential big plays lost through the arm of Fleming. Back on the ground. Larry Day. A little head fake at the end, too, and he's popped it out of bounds at the 37. There's a marker way back in the area of holding. This may negate a 26-yard gain.
Holding, offense number 32. Half the distance to the goal from the previous spot. Still second down.
Fullback Adjun.
It's too bad if you're Larry Day. I want you to watch this burst of speed, though. There's the hold, first of all, right there.
Yep, that'll do it. I mean, not much of one, but it's more of a tackle than a hold.
That's some textbook running right there by Day, though. Good burst of speed, got to the outside quickly, shifted that ball into the hand closest to the out-of-bounds line.
Boy, had that one held up, it would have been the 4th rush in excess of 25 yards tonight by HBU.
The ground game has been there for him tonight. Really, the passing attack has been much improved tonight, no question.
And right now, Larry Day fighting to stay out of the end zone. The Lumberjacks want a safety. They're not going to get it with forward progress. Day slipped, and then he went backwards, and then there was another 33 there in his grill, and that's Trey Valaire, the safety.
We heard from Trey Valaire earlier. He was one of the players we ran the interview regarding him, talking about how they want to make a name for themselves on the football field. He and Byron Williams, I was talking to them earlier this year, and I think they've got a good-looking team. I mean, I think this is a squad that can, you know, a month from now, they're going to still be in it, you know.
Dangerous play here. After a block punt led to a score, you don't want to make another mistake, so Larry Day working off the right side of the line for a couple of yards. But it'll be 4th and long, so here's another punting situation for Guzman.
We'll see if he gets this ball a little quick, gets it off a little quicker this time. I mean, it's a shorter field to work with. He really has no choice. He's going to have to get it off quicker this time.
Aaron Thomas is already standing at about the 44 of HBU, so this should be, barring a penalty or a mistake, great field position for the Lumberjacks. Guzman came in averaging 44 a kick, and that was a better kick or a quicker kick. Thomas, though, just shy of midfield, is loose. Thomas zigzagging down that left seam to about the 21.
Well, and I think maybe another observation we should make is he normally likes to do the rugby-style kick, and he hasn't done that the last 2 times. So maybe he's kind of a little bit out of his comfort zone. Maybe there's a reason why they went to that rugby-style kick, because it's better suited for the collegiate game for him.
Well, I think it maybe buys him an extra second for the coverage to get down the field. This time he had to get the ball, get rid of it. And you saw the return, and how about that for field position? Back-to-back drives inside basically the red zone of HBU for Stephen F. Austin.
Yeah, I mean, if there's one glaring thing about tonight's game, if you're both teams, to be honest, it's been special teams. I mean, SFA has clearly won the special teams battle.
It's made things a little bit easier. New ball carrier, Cam Washington. Maybe a yard, half a yard that'll be credited as a full yard for the junior from Corsicana.
And that goes back to what I said earlier, that a lot of times with that talent on the field, your ones are playing good with their ones offensively and defensively, but where the glaring change comes is the fourth quarter when those ones are getting tired, and special teams, because the special teams players for SFA are just, they've been there, they've done that a few more times than HBU's special teams players.
Really kind of felt like the first quarter obviously went to SFA. Second quarter, kind of a push, give it to HBU. Third quarter was a good one, entertaining. Fourth quarter, though, SFA is winning it. That one will be dropped by Washington. That was directly over his shoulder on the pass from Joe Minden, but a catchable ball nonetheless.
Yeah, Minden did a nice job. A lot of heat on this pass. And that's a catchable ball.
Yes,
I don't think there's any question.
He almost went right into CVS.
I'm sure Minden thinks that. Hey, I didn't think we were going to see CVS a while ago when those lights went out for almost 2 hours. It's good to see him over there.
Illumination. It's a wonderful thing. 3rd and 10. Minden now forced to run. Well, he had a man wide open underneath. The pass was caught inside the 10 to about the 5. That's somebody not even on the depth chart. A.J. Jones.
Everybody is spread out wide. No linebackers in the middle of the field. There you go. Big first down. Well, seems like some blown coverage right there defensively. How does someone get that open in the middle of the field on a short field, no less? We're only talking about 20 yards here.
Could imagine Washington will carry. He will. Inside the 5, and that's where the Huskies defense will push back.
Carry made by Washington. Takes the ball to the 5. Second.
Well, if anything, SFA's offense is as good as advertised. They've got some talent over there. They've got a big line. They've got great skill players. I mean, they've got 2 really good quarterbacks. They've got 3 or 4 great receivers. Best running back in the conference. I mean, that's what I'm saying earlier. I think this team can go out there and hang with anybody in the conference. I mean, even the loss against Central Arkansas was a 49-39 game.
That's right.
That could have gone any way. Either way.
Setting up a fun matchup next week. Easy walk into the end zone from Cam Washington. That's his first touchdown of the season. SFA closing in on 60 points.
Yeah, this is the most points that they've scored all year long. And the score's not really going to be indicative of the game. But we play 4 quarters for a reason. And that's usually what we've seen all year long, is that it's just tough to hang with a team that's got superior talent in the 4th quarter when you're kind of getting beat down.
Extra point is good. That's Mason Jewell. Normally does the kicking off. He's been busy tonight. SFA with 59 points on the board. A lot of players getting in on the fun. Jeff, your point before we went to break, a good one. You see Vic Shealy on the sideline. You may look at this score, tuned in a little bit earlier and stepped out because of the long delay and think, well, that just wasn't a competitive game. It's not the case, and I think there's a lot of positives that Vic Shealy will take from this game, especially in that 2nd and 3rd quarter.
No question about it. I mean, I still think this has been their best all-around performance that they've had, maybe as a program. I mean, we're talking about the 7 games last year in the developmental season, and then all the games this year. And again, I know they won earlier this year against Texas College, 72-6. I mean, that's one of those games where, you know, the competition level, HBU was on that side now, where they were the superior team and really got to demonstrate what they could do. But, you know, in a conference game against a team that's been playing in this conference forever, HBU's been extremely competitive. I mean, this was a winnable game in the 4th quarter.
That's right. Wallace, he's scored one tonight. He's just going to be pushed backwards shy of the 20. 6 and change to play in this game.
The Huskies will take from it a great ground game tonight. Still out rushing Stephen F. Austin, 200 to 199, albeit very close. And you know, you got to also think a couple drop passes here and there. If those balls are caught, man, it's a different game. I mean, we're back into what we were talking about earlier, how this is just going to be one of those shootouts where, you know, we could be talking 59 to 41 right now instead of 59-27.
Good point. You know, when you talk to opposing coaches in the Southland Conference, those that have played or scouted HBU, you get a similar set of comments. And normally it's to the likes of, I like their skill position players. I really like their running backs, like some of their receivers. Bibbins, like the quarterback. Meanwhile, Isaiah Hall checks in, bobbles the snap. Now he's just running for his life and going backwards. He got crunched.
Isaiah Hall is caught behind.
Well, you talk about how SFA brought 70-plus players here. A lot of these guys are from Houston. They want to have a good showing in front of their parents. There's a lot of SFA fans here. You know, they've got a key game coming up next week. I think HBU woke them up in the third quarter. I mean, when this game got down to 2 scores and we were deep into the second half, I think it was a wake-up call, and SFA has responded.
Also been able to rust Gus Johnson. He got his 3 scores. He's been sitting now. Boy, B.J. Kelly, I just love the competitor in him. I mean, he does not give up. We're approaching midnight here in Houston. He's running with the same energy he did to start this game.
You know, I think he might have been a gymnast earlier in his life. I mean, he has got some moves out there. Very agile, light on his feet, extremely fast, runs hard. That's what you're looking for when you're Vic Shealy. You're looking for those kind of players.
3rd and short, couple of yards needed. Hall looks like maybe he's changing the play. I wouldn't be surprised to see Hall try and run himself. He'll give to Kelly. Marker down though. He's shy of the first down, so this might be a case where maybe decline if the penalty is on HBU.
Yeah, they would put a 4th down and 3 or 4 yards, so I think that's exactly what they'll do.
That's what our referee wants to know. Do you want to decline it? Clint Conk might be saying, I just want to get on a bus. I mean, I want to go home.
Not too many teams across the United States hopping in a bus at about 12:30 in the morning.
Personal foul, chop block, offense, number 85 and number 54. That penalty is declined. Result of the play brings up 4th down.
Bibbins and Barron, you know, once you engage an offensive lineman, that second guy can't go low, and that may have been what was called by the official. Clock stopped, 4:59 to play.
Correction. To accept the penalty, it'll be half the distance to the goal. We'll replay 3rd down.
They are going to accept the penalty.
Ball will be placed at the 13-yard line.
Move it back to the 13-yard line, so it'll be 3rd and long. The Huskies have to reach the 28 to move the sticks.
Passing down here, we'll see. Fleming back on the field. There's always the threat of the draw play with B.J. Kelly standing right next to him. That might be a good call here.
Clock rolling after the mark off of that chop block. Fleming, that's not a good pass. Up for grabs. Throw it into traffic. Alex Miller got a pick earlier. He gets his 2nd of the game, and now Bibbins trying to make a tackle, and somebody needs to blow this dead before a player gets hurt.
They let that go a little too long.
Yes, they did, but there was a case when that ball was just thrown up with a lot of white shirts around it, kind of hoping to make a play. It's one Fleming would like to have back.
Well, and it counts against you in the stat chart, too. You know, I was talking with Stephen F. Austin's head coach earlier. Let's say let's play one more time. Fleming putting the ball, yeah, kind of forgot. It floated on him. Look at that. That ball just started floating right into the waiting arms of, there could have been 1 or 2, maybe 3 players there for SFA. But no question about it. You don't want to do that, but it's almost like a punt, if you will, since it was on third down. I talked with Clint Conk earlier about a month ago, and we'll get to that in just a moment. I want you to hear what he had to say about Vic Shealy, the utmost respect.
Third string quarterback into the game, and maybe even going a little bit deeper than that on the depth chart as far as the running backs. That's Walker with the carry.
Carry by Washington, good for a yard to the 40-yard line.
It's going to be 2nd and 9 here.
Hunter Taylor is the quarterback. He will keep, and he will be dropped.
So I was saying, I talked to Clint Conk earlier. What did you hear what he had to say about his thoughts about Vic Shealy and the task of taking on a new staff and a new bunch of players? Here's what he had to say.
Marker down.
Let's check the flag
let's
first.
see what's going to transpire.
There's no foul on the play for a block in the back. Third down.
Quite a few penalties here in this fourth quarter. A lot of second, third team players.
At the 39-yard line. We're going to be
Clock will wind now. Third down and about 8 to go. A lot of points up on the scoreboard. At one time, though, it was a 31-20 game. An HBU score to close within 11. That pass is a pick. Yes, it is. Intercepted. Jonathan Buffett.
You like
Buffett gets his first.
Yeah, I'd like to see that on defense too. A chance to kind of make a play. A little surprised SFA's throwing in that situation, but hey, you'll take the pick if it's there. Kind of timed that ball out perfectly as well. Closed in, and yeah, you still like to see the smiles and the excitement on that Husky sideline here. Let's look at it one more time. Yeah, basically just came off his man and just went up there and made a play. That's kind of what you talked about earlier. And Jonathan Buffin stepping up, making a huge play out of Cedar Hill, Texas.
HBU, fresh set of legs into the game. Jackie Robinson Jr. from Pearland.
I think Jackie played baseball. I'm just curious.
He's not wearing 42, he's wearing 25.
He's going to make a name for himself on the football field, huh? He said that name's already been made. I got to make my own name.
The original Jackie was a pretty good football player too at UCLA.
That's right. Good point.
Pretty good everything, for that matter. There he is again. Jackie with a burst of speed inside the 36. Doesn't matter who the Huskies bring off the bench to rush the football. They hit that hole and they go.
Yeah, they've got 4 really good backs. Actually 5, to be honest, with one being injured out tonight. But, 4 they can suit up out here. And they've all done a great job.
Clock starts again once they move the sticks. 27 points for HBU tonight. Fry has a chance to get a few more. Tackled inside the 5-yard line. Pollard saved a touchdown, but there's Ethan Fry and Fleming hooking up one more time.
So Ethan Fry's father standing up there, kind of that look of, come on, son, get in there. Yeah, big catch right here. Nicely done. He had a touchdown earlier this year against Texas College. Just about everybody had a touchdown in that game.
Wanted number 2.
I like this play in the full 4 quarters, all out by HBU. Nicely done.
Pass to the goal line, incomplete.
Pass is incomplete.
Intended for D'Angelo Wallace.
Intended for D'Angelo Wallace. Second down.
Stephen F. Austin here. Talked about their opponent next week, Southeastern Louisiana. That's going to be a tough test for them, but it will be at home. HBU is going to take on Nichols right here, 7 o'clock here at Dunham Field at Husky Stadium.
See if they let Robinson carry. Somebody go. Robinson will carry. We'll go back. Thrown down. One of the backup defensive linemen in there for SFA, Jamal Allen.
Clock continues to move. 122 and counting. I know HBU wants to be the last one to have the ball here, but I might need to pick it up just a little bit. But it is 3rd down, so they only got 2 more cracks at it.
See if Fleming can add one more touchdown pass to his night. Trying to align Robinson to his right. Little option pitch. That was almost forward, and Robinson has to cover it. You get the feeling that may be not in the comfort zone for Jonathan Fleming.
I'm actually thinking in this situation, go ahead and kick the field goal. But I'm one of those that actually likes to have the 3 on there instead of the 2, meaning make 30 points on there instead of 27 and balance it out a little bit more. Because it's 4th and goal. It's going to be tough to get about 10 yards.
How about using a timeout to talk things over? Vic Shealy wants to stop the clock, 27 seconds to play.
So with the timeout, I want to go back to what we were talking about earlier. SFA's head coach talking about Vic Shealy and the respect that he has. Here's Coach Conk.
As good a coach as Vic is, I think the thing, and one of the best things I can say about him, he's a better person. And he is going to fulfill not only what the people at HBU and the Husky faithful want to see on the field, but in building and mentoring young men so they can grow and reach their potential. And I have no doubt he's going to be a huge success there.
And just the thoughts here, I've been to some of these practices out here, you know, between weeks. They had a great practice. It was very spirited, defense out there making some big plays. And, you know, the one thing that you kind of take from this game, though, they did play like they practiced. You know, it was one of those feelings where they played a full game. I know the scoreboard shows 59-27, but it's got my vote for best complete game they played all year. Special teams still got a few things they need to work out, but the defense bent. I know the 59 points looks bad, but the defense played lights out tonight and at times looked really sharp as we look at the rest of their schedule.
He talks about the game with Nichols next week. Our next telecast here at Fox Sports Southwest, Fox College Sports, will be on November 15th when Sam Houston State comes to Dunham Field and Husky Stadium, and that will not be an easy task.
3 o'clock kick on that one, too. It'll be a little colder.
We'll have to worry about the lights.
Couldn't resist that one, could you?
A fade to Iheanacho. He was being pushed.
Got a hand on it.
No flag. Hippolito Corcoran, Houston native, was not about to allow that touchdown here in his hometown in the final play, but there was a lot of contact.
So is there kind of there's an unwritten rule about you don't kick a field goal in that situation? I mean, I'm just being curious. Since you were a coach.
Well, I would say I'm with you. I'd like to see 30 points if I'm on the board. If I'm HBU, you give Shin a chance. He's only attempted 7 this season to get 1 more. But, you know, the competitor in you wants to go for 7 when you're trailing that much deep in the game. It would have been a nice capper to what will end up being a loss, but with a lot of positives for them to take forward into the future weeks.
I mean, I'm just thinking because you're talking about 3 more points. I mean, you know, 59-30 looks a little better than 59-27.
Well, you could have kicked a field goal and tried to kick an onside kick just to try and work on that. SFA takes over on downs. They're in that victory formation, and 1 more snap will do it. So how about that? Conk came back on the field just to take the snap, so he didn't mishandle it and mess up the victory formation. That'll do it.
And we talk about how, you know, maybe you don't win the war, but you win some battles. They won the battle on the ground, rushing for 232 yards on 49 carries to 201 for Stephen F. Austin, who had 38 carries. So there's your positive. And HBU even had more first downs, 19 first downs to the 18 first downs of SFA. So I think the offense can definitely take away some positives from this. The defense at times, they look good. They definitely bent a few times. They gave them some big plays. They gave them some big plays on special teams. That's an area that needs to get kind of improved on. But a good night overall for the HBU Huskies, even though they lose 59-27.
It was a hard-fought game tonight here in Houston on the campus of HBU. 27 points for the Huskies, but it's the SFA Lumberjacks with the 59-27 win. Back in the broadcast booth again, I'm Brett Dolan with Jeff Power, and it was a contest, Jeff, even into that third quarter where it was 31-20 SFA, and the Huskies had a lot of momentum as they were getting back into this game, and they made things interesting tonight.
They did. Well, as we mentioned, they rushed them 232 yards. They had the 19 first downs, one more than SFA did. So you can definitely take some positives, especially on the ground. They had some big plays offensively that they haven't had all year long. Some big bursts of 33, 34 yards. They haven't had that all season, even the 45-yarder. But overall, I thought they played well. SFA wins the game. They're a superior team right now. But HBU, a lot of positives to take from this. It all started in practice earlier this week.
You know, total yards not that different as far as the disparity. 446 for HBU. In fact, 409 for SFA. So they win that battle. But it was the special teams where a couple of plays were made late that allowed SFA a block punt for a touchdown, a punt return that got them up at the 20 where they scored again. That allowed them to extend this game to really make the score not quite as indicative as the contest we had in the field.
Yeah, and I think the special teams was the difference in the game down the stretch. I mean, that ended up being a big advantage on field position throughout, especially in the fourth quarter. That's where SFA kind of pulled away in this game. But, again, a lot of positives you can take from it. If you're Houston Baptist, you've got Nichols coming up next. That's a winnable game. They need to go out there and you know, have another performance like this, and that might result in a win. That would be their first in the Southland Conference.
It's all about taking that progress from the practice field to the stadium. We saw some of that tonight. Then, of course, still in search of that first win. But you could see where these kids gained a lot of confidence tonight.
Yeah, they gained a lot of confidence out there. I know Vic Shealy feels good about the way his team performed. And really, quite honestly, the last couple of games that we've seen HBU play, he hasn't been able to walk off the field and say that. He can say that tonight. He can feel good about the product they put on the field. And as for Stephen F. Austin, they got a big game against Southeastern Louisiana next week. This team could be in first place in the Southland Conference. And that's another reason why HBU can feel pretty confident about the way they played tonight, is that they hung with a team that could be in first next week.
Interesting game that had a 2-hour delay because the lights went out about 30 seconds into our contest, finishing about midnight. But we'll wrap things up tonight from Husky Stadium. Once again, our final score. It was a 59-27 win for Stephen F. Austin. For Jeff Power and our entire crew, I'm Brett Dolan saying good night from Houston.